Hey, what's going on, everybody? Your boys is back. The two Aries, me, Maas, Apeal, and my homeboy
That's Tuesday.
YWG. Back again for another two Aries show. And
Maas Apeal show.
this is the Maas Appeal show with Poppy Chulo. But we have a very, very special show tonight. We had to pull this dude's leg. We had to drag him into the studio to get him to talk about a very important thing. And we're going to be discussing entrepreneurship tonight. And we got Spider-Man coming on here tonight. He's going to talk about how he opened his laundromat. And he's going to take questions from everybody that's in the chat. He's going to answer the questions that we have for him. And basically, hopefully by the end of the show, you will be on a path to entrepreneurship, even if it's a home-based business, or if it's true entrepreneurship where you're going to leave with your 9 to 5 and basically do this on a daily basis. So, what you got to say about that, YWG?
I think it's a great thing, man. I've been knowing this cat for years. He and I worked together. Well, actually, I met him on the first Million Man March. I think that was back in '91.
Okay.
One of the dudes I used to kick it with knew him, and I met him then, and I thought he was kind of cool. You know, he was in the computers. You know, whatever. I wasn't in the computers back then, and you know, we kicked it as friends ever since. And then, you know, he's the one who got me my job now, where I'm working in computers. Thanks, babe.
That's what's up. That's what Evie.
Hi, Aaron.
How are you doing tonight?
Very good. How about you?
I am great. I saw that lunch that you made, Murph. I was jealous.
Don't
You can't send me the pictures of the food, man, and then don't think I'm not gonna say nothing about it.
Poppy Chulo.
Bye.
Poppy Chulo.
Yeah. Hey, babe,
Bye, Evie.
Spoon? Or did you stir
it? Do you have sugar?
Mm-hmm. Thanks, babe.
So yeah, YWG.
So what happened was this. Pretty much, he's the one who got me into the computer job I'm at now.
Okay.
And that was like you could call it like a homeboy hookup kind of thing. And hey, man, I appreciate everything he's done for me. The brother is very creative. Thanks, man. Very creative, business sense, just the way he thinks. And I'm actually sending him this link as we speak. But the brother's very creative. I've seen him pull jobs out of thin air, like career jobs.
Okay.
Very impressive. And I remember when he started talking about the laundromat and what he wanted to do, and he bounced a few ideas off of me, and I kind of like what we always do to each other is if we have an idea, we talk to each other, and then we'll say, okay, poke holes in it. Tell me what's wrong with it. Tell me how I need to improve it. So we did a lot of that, and like I said, it was very interesting. And he went with the idea of the laundromat, which he's going to come on and explain why he did it, the sacrifices he made. If he was to do it again, what would he do differently?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these are some of the things. Okay, the link's been sent to him, so we're gonna just wait for him to jump on. Black Money, what up?
So what's going on, man? What current events, man? What have you noticed has been going on in the news? You know, we always talk about the current events before we get into the topic.
Yes, sir. Oh man,
there's the world, man.
There's so many. That idiot Tim Scott jumped in for a Republican presidential run. I heard that Meatball, his thing on Twitter went bad. The governor from Florida, Meatball.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what, man? You know how Republicans are so religious? Okay, let's go with that. That's God telling y'all don't run because y'all suck. Because Tim Scott mic went out too. It was a couple of them. So, hey, man, listen to the Father. He don't want y'all idiots to run. Y'all too stupid. You know?
I'm just like, I don't know what to say about those guys. I mean, I don't know what platform they're speaking on. Because they're just so, those two guys, they're outliers. They're outliers. These aren't people that would normally be up for nominations of a party just off of the rhetoric that they talk. That's why I say things have changed in terms of politics, because
you know what these cats run on?
things that people say now you couldn't say 20 years ago.
These dudes, and it troubles me with the new language that comes out every year. These guys will run on it. It's just like last year it was radical left, radical. This year is like woke left, woke. Okay, what are you gonna do? Woke left. What are you gonna do? Well, the other side is blocked. And it's like there's no policy. It's just I want to run on buzzwords, you know. And it's like every year they come up with a new buzzword, you know. I don't know, man. There's so many buzzwords. I just keep forgetting. It's stupidity, if you ask me. And if you're voting because of some kind of emotional, I don't know, what do they call it when everyone's so sensitive? You running on feelings and emotions and
soft.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, this election that's coming up may be the craziest election in history.
You think?
I mean, there are no candidates on the Democratic side.
No.
And there are no candidates on the Republican side.
Well, they had Marianne Williamson, but you saw that one video when she was talking about reparations, they made her look real bad.
I'm just under the feelings that until some younger blood comes into politics, we just gonna keep on getting the same thing every 4 years. This dude is 80 years old and he's trying to run again, man. It's time to sit down.
What about the one who got wheelchaired in and said she was never gone? She was gone for 3 months. She said, "What are you talking about? I've always been here voting." Time for you to go, great grandma. It's time for you to go.
Hey, man, they trying to stay in until man. I don't understand. I'm at a loss. How there is no new blood that has come to the forefront.
Yeah,
it's like these old folks. They just keep on. These old folks with old policies and old ways of thinking. Just never.
Clyburn, Nancy Pelosi. These are what do they call it? Octogenarians?
I don't know what you call them. But hey, what's going on, Bud Files? How you doing tonight? Man? I don't know what you mean. AARP, senior citizen.
Oh, they passed AARP.
That's what I'm saying. They senior citizens on the AARP circuit.
Yeah, they gotta go.
But that coupled with some just other things that's been going on, it's just really crazy. I mean, people are still arguing about gun laws. I mean, do we really need to argue about gun laws?
How do you see
I
that?
think it's self-evident that guns are very, very destructive when in the wrong hands. And the debate that I was watching basically said that Democratic states are the most crime-ridden places. Democratic cities, Democratic states. And basically said that the states with the harshest crime penalties are the ones with the most destruction, because basically you have legislated the people not to be able to protect themselves. And yeah, conversation was very, very dynamic. It was a very, very good conversation. I think you stuck. I don't know what happened, but I don't know what happened. YWG, you didn't win out. Sifting some soil. How you doing tonight? The gardener, I think I think something's going on with his internet connection. Yeah, he just dropped off. He'll probably be back in a couple seconds, but we're just talking about some topics that have been going on the last few days. But I like to say that tonight's show is sponsored by one of my good homeboys. He has a clothing line called Mob First Clothing. Eddie Rowe, Mob First Clothing. Look him up on YouTube. He has a website. He has clothes for men, women, children. Go check him out. Mob First Clothing. That is the sponsor of tonight's show. But yeah, we're gonna wait for YWG to get back. But how do you all in the chat panel? How do you all feel about gun laws? Do you think that gun laws are too strict? Do you think that gun laws are not strict enough? Because I watched the debate, and like I was saying, that they said that cities with the harshest gun laws are the cities that have the most crime, and basically said their premise is that there's so much crime because the citizens have been legislated out of being able to protect themselves. And then they went on to say that, you know, you look at Republicans as conservative, but Republican-led states and cities have some of the most liberal gun laws, and those cities, I mean, people say that because everyone knows everybody has a gun, that you're less inclined to challenge people. And I mean, I can kind of agree with that. But how y'all feel about that? Probably gonna wait a couple of minutes, but the topic that we're gonna talk about tonight is basically entrepreneurship and basically starting your own business. But we're going to do it from a perspective of, we have an entrepreneur that we're going to talk to tonight, and basically he opened a laundromat. Mm-hmm. So YWG will be right back in a few minutes. He has some technical difficulties, and his internet is coming back up. But yeah, we're gonna have one of our friends come on, and he's gonna give you all a guide on basically the thought process of how he came about starting, the thinking of opening a laundromat, how he took those notes and the things that he wrote down, and brought those things to fruition, and basically how things have been going since he opened this business. So without further ado, we're going to bring Mr. Marshall up here. Hey, Mr. Marshall, how you doing tonight? Marsh.
M. Diggy.
You might be away from the desk.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties. Evie accidentally turned the switch off for the internet.
Yeah.
and I got booted.
Hey man, you're supposed to show her everything that's good. You're supposed to show her where everything is, what not,
She know
what
now.
not to cut off, what not to. Yeah, man. See, that's your fault. That's your fault. We're not even. We're not even gonna put that on. We're not gonna put that on Evie. Okay. We got Marshall. How you doing tonight, Marshall? Uh-oh. He's laid back tonight. So man, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. We had to pull your leg and pull your arm to get you on here. Now we're gonna pull the information out of you, man. And I'm gonna let YWG take over for a minute, and I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna interject into the conversation. But I think that there are questions I have, but I think that YWG will be a better leader in this conversation, being that he has known you a longer amount of time, and you all had conversations about what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm gonna let YWG take over.
What's going on, brother?
What's happening?
Hey, man. So what I did before you came on is I gave a brief intro of how we met. And correct me if I'm wrong, we met back in 91, the first Million Man March.
No, it was before that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before that because when we used to run with the crew.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Mike, George. Okay. And yeah, it was before. It was before that. Yeah, we did go to the Million Man March, all of us.
Deep. We was deep.
Yeah, we was deep. Yeah. We did go to that. And I'm gonna tell you, that was great.
Yes. That was a beautiful experience.
It was.
Beautiful.
It was never in life have I ever experienced anything like that. Never in life.
I still got my button.
You got your. I still got my T-shirt. Yeah.
I know it don't fit.
I know it don't. It's a little tight. It's a little tighter in
it probably come up to right here.
Oh man, we don't want to see what's there. We don't need to see your gut, man. So don't put that shirt on. Don't put that shirt on.
Look, I watched that joint. It became a medium.
Yeah. So pretty much I spoke about that. I spoke about how you've been in IT and you brought me in, the homeboy hookup, and we've been rocking since, man. Nonstop.
Yeah, it's been, I went into IT. I've been in the IT myself ever since when I graduated tech. 83.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was actually before PCs became mainstream.
Yeah.
That's
the big floppy disk.
That's why I love talking to the little millennials and the Gen Zs and stuff who just automatically assume that I don't know what a damn tablet is. I tell them all the damn time, look, if people they don't understand that I'm Generation X, as are you. We're the last generation that is both analog and digital. Okay. Yep. We're the last ones.
Yeah.
We're the last generation that knows how to drive a fucking 5-speed manual. We're the last generation that knows how to write in cursive. We're the last generation that knows what a book is and how to get one from the library.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, the Dewey Decimal System. They don't know nothing about the Dewey Decimal System.
I was shocked to find that out. I was working at the FAA. One of the young people that I was working with was talking about her kid and, how school is. Because she got a single mom and everything. She got a kid in school, and we were just talking about that. And somehow I asked her about, well, what about recess in gym and shit like that? They don't do that no more.
Stuff like that.
They don't do that. No, yeah, I'm sorry. They don't do that no more. Is mom's watching? I hope mom's is watching.
Mom's Mitchell. Sorry, Mom's Mitchell. It's not after 9. It's not after 9:30 yet. I'm sorry, Mom's Mitchell.
Okay, I can cuss after 9:30.
You good? You good, bro? You good?
I can be emphatic after 9:30.
But look, real quick. So I just went over this how you and I used to talk about businesses. When we was at work, we used to talk about how would you do a business? How would you create a business? So pretty much we bounced ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
So I want to go into story mode.
Okay.
Story mode is why the laundromat? What made you think of the laundromat? How did you start? From where did you see it? You know, the funding, just, you know, from the ground up, from start to where you are now. If you can, like, just tell the folks your journey into developing a laundromat and why, and just what would you do differently at the end? I guess we would like to know, what would you do differently?
Okay. In other words, how did I get myself in so much damn trouble?
Yeah. Because this part of the show is called Black Excellence, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to show that the young people or even younger Black folks that as a Black man or Black woman, you can achieve something. You don't have to always work for someone. So
that's true.
So you know what? I'm gonna do like Maas.
Always have to be a W-2 employee.
Right.
What's that? 10 double G or something like that?
W-2 is when you work for an employer.
Yeah. But the one is 10066. 1099. That's it.
Right.
Then there's different levels of 1099 depending on corporation, LLC, sole proprietorship, stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, Black Money. I ain't see you in the house.
Yeah, Black Money.
What's going on, Black Money?
Yeah, he gave me a shout out.
I see sifting some soils in. How you doing today? Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah. Back to Marshall.
I want you to kick it, man. I want you to enlighten the youth.
Marshall, from the conversations that you and YWG had, what was the beginning of this process? How did this process start?
Well, what I'm gonna try to do is tell it without going too deep, right? As far as my philosophy, goes.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna try to, because that's a long because it was a long process when you come to a realization, when you come to an epiphany. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't start with right off the. I guess for most people, it doesn't start right off the break with, I'm going to start my own business. You got to go through a whole bunch of things to get to that point. And then once you get to that point, from there, that's when you start looking for a vehicle. You're like, you know what I'm saying? You know you got to get out. You know you got to do something different. You already know all of that. And a whole bunch of things can transpire before you get to that point. But once you reach that point up here, that's when you start saying, okay, I need to get the hell out of here. How am I going to do it? I need to get from here to over there. How am I going to do it? And that's usually when people start looking, and most people end up saying, okay, well, I want to start my own business. And people got a million different reasons why. And I had a whole bunch of different reasons why. But to make a long story short, the reason why, with me, I've always been that way. I've always been that way. Ever since I was a little kid, I used to hang out in front of a grocery store, bag grocery, put people's groceries in their cars for tips. Me and my little friends. You know, I'm 7'8".
That was the beginning.
I'm built like that, meaning that me and my little friends back in then we talking, I was born in 1964.
Okay.
So in the 70s, that's right. I'm old.
You ain't old, man. You're seasoned, man. Come on, man.
I guess.
That's some serious seasoning.
So you got to kind of be, I guess the point I'm trying to make is you got to kind of be
wired
that way perfectly. Yeah, wired. I was always that kid with the beat up lawnmower where you wrap the string around it and pull it to get it started because it's a piece of garbage.
But you made money with it.
and 1 gallon of gasoline, which was 25 cents back in those days.
Right.
Hey,
Wow.
You can fill a tank of gas, for a quarter.
Yes, and a lawnmower don't even take a gallon. Okay, it don't. But I was me and my best friend Douglas, right, in DC. I grew up Northwest DC. Okay, mostly. I grew up all over the damn place, but I was born in DC, grew up there. Neighborhood we lived in, going around the neighborhood in the summertime, mowing people grass, going down to the Safeway, putting people's groceries in cars when they came in paper bags, and people had them great big cars with trunks, that 3-body trunk. Okay, that kind of shit. But back in those days, it was different. Again, that goes back to the whole Gen X thing. We were feral. All of Generation X were feral, like feral cats, wild cats running all over the damn place. Most of the times, all day long in the summertime, my parents
riding bikes, walking, just out.
Collecting bottles, collecting cans,
collecting bottles, nickel deposit for the bottles, running all over the neighborhood. Most of the time, my parents had no idea. Especially if you grew up in, really, it didn't matter where you grew up at. It was kind of like they didn't know where you were.
Nope.
It was, it was so bad that back then they had to put out a TV commercial saying that it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children
I remember
are?
that. I remember that. I ain't.
Remember those?
Yeah, I didn't. I stayed out after the street light one time, and I didn't make that mistake again. Yeah, I learned.
Yeah, your mom got hands.
I ain't make that mistake.
Mom got hands.
I mean, so did we. I mean, I had to be on the front. I had to be on the front. I had to be in the house, but I had to be on the front porch. Yeah, when the street lights came on. But everything up until street light time, they had no idea where we were, what we were doing. No idea. And of course, we ran around doing things that could pretty much get you killed. Okay.
But now you moved into. You started with the bagging of groceries and cutting grass.
Yeah, I was.
And then what did you do? What was the graduation from that? What was next?
So throughout, I guess the point I was trying to make was throughout ever since I was a kid, I've always enjoyed making my own money. You know what I'm saying? Something about making my own money, and with me, the main thing about that was if you're making your own money, you ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. You know what I mean? You ain't got to ask nobody for it. I want damn ice cream. I can get damn ice cream. I want soda. I'm getting soda. Great knee high. You know what I'm saying? But I want a certain kind of toy.
Man, what is you talking about?
Great. Talking about.
Hey, what y'all both talk about? I'm talking about Craigmont. How about that one?
Craigmont.
What the hell is that, man?
That sounds like Cheerwine.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, man. Craigmont. That sounds like some water.
That was
like some water with rocks in the bottom of it, man. Get out of here.
That was Safeway's brand back then.
Big K, man. Big K.
Man, shit. Knee high grape and orange crush.
Knee high peach.
Did you have the tall glass bottle?
But knee high peach. Well, wait a minute. Knee high peach. Let me see. Where'd you grow up at?
Kentucky.
Maas? Kentucky. Okay, that's further south. I grew up in DC.
No knee high peach.
So
yeah, we have orange and grape.
They gave out a hood flavors.
Yeah, I mean, but Craigmont, that sound like the.
You remember Craigmont?
I never heard of Craigmont, man.
That sound like the Korean store on the corner.
That came before Safeway Select.
Craigmont. That sound like some.
Wow, not the blue cream money.
Oh, I forgot. Rock Creek.
Rock Creek.
Blue Creek. Oh, Rock Creek, man. Man, that stuff is illegal now. You can't even sell it. Liquid.
That's at the gas station. You get it at the gas station.
It's like the Four Locos of non-alcoholic drinks. Rock Creek.
Yeah. Rock Creek. All the flavors. Any flavor Rock Creek. My favorite was fruit punch. Rock Creek.
Knee-high blue. I never had a knee-high blue cream. That's some.
I never heard
He's up north.
Black Monday.
Yeah.
Black Monday's
he's
in Norfolk.
Yeah, he's a
That's
Norfolk.
one.
Wow.
That's some army flavors or something, man. Navy
It must be.
flavors, man. I don't
Army
know what
base.
that is, man.
Navy base. Navy. That's the Navy.
Ah,
Navy
man,
base.
I didn't spilt my martini.
Wow.
Oh man.
What up? So okay, so let.
No,
I'm sorry.
We got off on a knee-high tangent, you know.
Yeah.
I took a nap earlier, so my brain ain't really. In order to be able to do this, I had to take a nap.
So,
Yeah.
so what was the beginning process to bring the laundromat into fruition?
Okay, so where did I end at? Okay, so basically entrepreneurial spirit and all that.
Yeah.
Always had that. Okay, for different reasons. Okay, so laundromat. Okay, now I've done other businesses before that, other endeavors before that, and basically all of that stuff had to do with me trying to find another
Revenue
source
stream.
of income, another source of income, another path outside of my regular job.
Well, also too, remember we was laid off for a minute.
Well, yeah,
Furlough.
Well, at least, well, yeah, we had the furlough and all that, but even before that happened, throughout my whole career in IT, especially being a government contractor, okay, you know how that goes. It's just like being a mercenary. They hire you, you do the job, then when the contract is over, anything can happen.
Yep.
And usually it's bye-bye.
Yep.
Now, I've had that happen to me plenty of times, and no hard feelings. That's how it works here in DC when you're a government contractor. That's the lay of the land. That's how it works.
That's what happens.
Anytime they come into your office and say, "Okay, that's it." Either the company
no
messed up, or it's politics, or whatever it is. That's you just accept that. Okay, but every time that would happen, that happened to me several times. Yeah, they come. They were just calling me. They calling me.
You remember that meeting they called when we was in Arlington?
Yeah,
that meeting. Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, and they hand out the packages.
Here's your severance.
Yep, they hand out the package. The Cobra. They talk about Cobra.
Yeah,
you ain't got no more
Cobra your ass up out of there. Or get stung. Leave out there. You ain't got to leave, but you're going to leave out of here or get stung by this Cobra.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. That's just the way it is. But you got to understand that a lot of people, they get all salty about it. And there's no point in getting salty. But I had been a government contractor since the 80s. So when they would hit you with that, the only thing that would piss me off was, dang, you could have warned me.
I had to explain that to my mother, man. When I first moved to DC, I would call and be like, how much contract ended today? I'll probably be working by the next couple of weeks. My mother be like, what? The contract ended? You ain't working? Oh, Lord, have mercy. Like, Mom, it'll be all right. It's I'll be working in a week or two.
Yeah.
Usually.
Usually, depending on what it is, and shit like that. And it's basically the point is you have really no control.
None.
Over it. As an employee, you really have no control.
People don't understand when you're a contractor or when you're doing stuff like that, you got to come in there and humping every day. The day you don't come in there humping and trash slack be the day the production's not the same. We're gonna have to get
Mm-hmm. And the government, especially when you're dealing with the federal government, mostly with us, it wasn't because we weren't doing every company I ever worked for, it's been a lot. Okay. It wasn't because we weren't doing the work. Most of it had to do with politics.
It always has to do with politics in DC.
Right. It's always something like that. And that's how it works here. So having said all that, if you want to have some kind of something to fall back on. Yeah. Okay. So because of that, and because of the fact that I've always had this entrepreneurial
Bet on
spirit
yourself.
thing with
That's,
me.
you have to be
Yeah,
willing to bet on yourself if you want to get ahead.
Yeah. So with it's always, I've always been ambitious like that. So, and then another one of my ethos, I guess you call it, is that you have to be willing to do. Now, this is for people, who want to do a business, whatever it is, right? You have to be willing to do now what other people are not. Reason being is so that you can do later what other people can't. Just remember that. So anybody
Man, repeat that.
I like
that.
that. I like that.
I mean,
Yeah,
what I just said.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, you have to, as an individual, you have to sit down and look inside of yourself and
No, I'm
decide.
talking about that quote.
Are
that
you
quote.
really,
You got to be willing.
the quote? Yeah. You have to be willing to do now, okay, what other people are not, so that you can do later what other people can.
Boy, that's a powerful statement right there.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of believed that. So if something, so if you're not, if you think about that, if you're not that kind of person, you're not willing to, then it's not for you.
Right.
It's not for you. It's just like voting. Don't bitch and complain about what they're doing if you ain't voting.
You ain't vote, then
just sit down, shut up. There's nothing to do. So anyway, so all while I had full-time job, different companies, and I'm talking about since the 80s, I tried all different kinds. I've tried a whole bunch of different stuff. And none of it was ever multi-level marketing or any of that crap. I never did any of that. Even though some people do well, but most of that stuff is pyramid shape. Okay. I've always tried different stuff. Just always looking for something to have to do besides the job. Okay. I did import export at one time. Did that. Had some success, a little bit, but I could tell you about that another time.
Yeah, that's another show.
I've heard that story about the import export. You're gonna have to come back to do a show on that one too.
Because that was very creative. I love that idea.
Yeah,
very creative, and it's a funny story.
Yeah, but it is kind of it is kind of, but it was but yeah, it is just because I'm one of those people who always sit around thinking about what can I do. I try to look at things that are not I guess
you're looking through a different lens than what everybody else is doing. You see something, you see what they don't see.
I try to. I try to. And because of that, oftentimes I end up finding myself out there completely alone because nobody understands
that's just how it is.
Your boy does.
For people that are leaders, that's just how it is. Because we don't follow. We don't follow. We're not followers. Aries, we're not followers.
Yeah. We tend to be pioneers, and we also tend to be the ones laying face down on the trail with all them arrows in our back because of that shit. That happens. But anyway, so bunch of different companies. I started, learned how to start companies, learned a bunch of stuff. But then after a while, you keep doing that, and after a while, your psyche changes. And you start, that's the most important thing, is you start looking at working for somebody else differently. Meaning that you start looking at working for somebody else as temporary.
As a means to an end.
As a way to keep the lights on, as a way to keep the lights on for now.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, they look at the other way around. They look at their job as the mainstay and then they look at whatever hustle they got, whatever they got going on, the side business, the business, whatever, as secondary. Me, I turn it over. Okay, I turn it over simply because of the being a contractor. They can call me tomorrow and cut my cable.
Right.
You see what I mean? And I had that happen to me.
It's happened
and
to
I wasn't
all
ready.
of us. If you've been working in DC, it's happened to all of us.
Right. But I think so. Anyway, trying to stay on.
Go ahead. Man. Okay. So we get to the planning stages of you thought, what can I do to make some money less than this W-2 job? So you made a decision that you was going to do a laundromat. So after,
how did I get to why a laundromat of all things? Okay, this is very simple. Long time ago, I learned from other people, and that's a big thing. You got to learn how to listen to other people. I learned from, he's dead now. I mean, dead. I used to listen to Earl Nightingale. Okay, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's on YouTube. Old dude from the 50s. There's recordings of him and videos of him from the 50s.
Earl Nightingale.
His name is Earl Nightingale.
I'm gonna look that name up because I've never heard of him.
Right. It's listen. Yeah, I listened to him, his thought process, and a whole bunch of other people before. I listened to now Gardner. He knows about this person. Charles J. Gibbons. Okay.
Yeah, I went out and got his hardback.
Right. No, I loaned you my hardback and you never gave it back.
Oh, you want to know?
One of those. I need my book. I want my book. But all that
it's always the good books too. It's always the good books.
What'd you say, Gardner?
My ex-wife kept it.
Oh, she got it.
She got it.
She got it. Too bad it's gonna go to waste.
It
How
will.
You let her get the book.
Yeah.
It's probably holding up a table leg.
How you let her?
Probably is. But that's okay. I mean, the information that's in that book is all obsolete now, but the principles
aren't obsolete
that are in it aren't. Yeah, the principles are forever. And that book enlightened me. And the name of that book, if anybody wants to go look for it, is called Wealth Without Risk.
I think I got it, but keep talking. Let me see
Wealth
if I got
Without Risk.
Yeah, it's called Wealth Without Risk by Charles J. Gibbons. He's dead too. He died a couple of decades ago. Okay, and basically his whole premise is now this is stuff that led up to. I'm trying to get there.
Okay, I'm gonna help you get there.
It's important that people understand
your thought process.
It's kind of important that people understand how you get to the point where you jump off, because you start seeing stuff. You get other people to get you to start thinking differently. And I'm naming the people that were the most instrumental for me in that. But his whole thing was about his name. The name of his book was called Wealth Without Risk. Is that it? There go my damn book.
No, this is a hard. You gave me the soft copy.
I never had a soft copy. That's mine.
No.
Don't even try it. I want my book. When I come over there, I'm getting my book. I need to put that back in my library, my collection, because if they cut off the internet,
YWG, you one of them dudes.
I gotta go back to books. Okay,
forget you gave him a book, man. Yeah, man. Let's do it, man.
You know how long Gardner done had that book? That book is at least 20 years. At least. It was at least 20 years ago, at least, that I loaned him that book. Because I was trying to get him to see, because it goes back to
that book ain't been been opened in 20 years.
No, he read it. I was shocked, but he read it. That goes back to what he was saying about when we were talking about how we used to talk about stuff all the time back in the day. And I turned him on to that book.
Okay.
In order
to what did Charles Gibbons and Charles Gibbons and Mr. Nightingale put in you? No homo.
Well, okay. You, no homo. Really, what he did is he opened my eyes to a lot of stuff.
Okay.
He really did. Stuff that most worker bees
Okay.
don't think about. Okay. For example, most people go to work every day, get the paycheck, spend the paycheck. His whole philosophy, his whole philosophy, that's why he called it wealth without risk. His whole philosophy was you can get wealth with the money that you make. The money that you make, unless you just don't make, I mean like this. But the money that you make is plenty enough. You just got to learn how to use it. You got to learn how to manage it. You got to learn how to, and that doesn't mean open up a checking account with interest. Okay, the way that he lays it out is a series of strategies. He calls them wealth strategies. Instead of worrying about running out there how much money you can earn, his whole thing is how much can you keep of what you earn, which is the reverse. Nobody ever thinks about that, because you can make money all day long doing all in this country. Keeping it is the problem.
Right now we're living in the gig. Right now we're living in the gig economy.
Yeah, and they
nobody
can make money.
Nobody wants to work for nobody.
That's
I want
fine.
to work when I want to work, and yeah,
and that's fine as long as they learn how to, and that's fine to do.
Right.
Again, anybody can make money, but learning how to keep it is the thing. So his whole thing is called financial self-defense. See, a lot of people, they'll get on there and they'll talk about how to make more money and how to this and that. Nobody ever talks about how to defend yourself, because really, if you think about it, they're after you. You know, just like Woody Allen said, just because you're paranoid, that doesn't mean that they're not out to get you. Okay. So that was the thing that opened my eyes. He goes from everything from regular stuff that they don't teach you in school.
Okay.
Of course not.
So
they're not going to teach you.
We didn't read the Charles Gibbons book. We didn't put them philosophies into our everyday.
Right. But
practice.
one of the philosophies was you must have a small business. You must have a small business. The reason is because of the way the United States is set up.
Right.
Okay.
It's a corporation.
United States. It should be the United States of America Incorporated.
Right.
Okay. It's the way that the laws are here, and how it's just the way things work here, and you have to understand that. If you're just a worker bee every day, you're not going to understand that. But once you start looking into it, everything is set up in such a way for companies. If you're a company, to be able to do shit that an individual can't. Okay. I mean, that's why the Supreme Court said that corporations are people. That was to allow them to be able to do shit that humans, physical people, can do, right? And whatnot. But anyway, that was one of the major things. So after reading his book, I changed a whole lot of stuff in my financial life. And also it planted a seed, okay, that, all right, you got to start a company. Now, of course, I had started several different companies after that.
Okay.
Okay. Some worked, some didn't, whatever, fine. But, and then the benefits you get from from having a company. That was his main thing, because his thing was tax strategies. Tax. Right. Have a company so that you can take advantage of the tax system here. Okay. That if you're not a LLC, you're not an Inc. or anything like that, you can't take advantage of that stuff. Right? Okay. So.
Okay. Let's do a stop point right here.
All right.
Everybody that's watching, thank you for watching. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, thank you for tuning in there. But we need you to come over here to YouTube and join in the conversation over here. We really appreciate you watching from those venues. Now we need you to come over here, join us, join the discussion, ask some questions. If you have some comments, add those comments. But yeah, this is a time for you to ask questions if you're thinking about entrepreneurialism, anything like that. So with that said, I'm about to cut I'm about to cut Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter off. Come over to YouTube and join us. My bad, Marshall.
No, that's okay. You got to do the announcements.
You got to do the announcements.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking all this time. So you got to the whole story is one thing starts leading to another.
Right.
That's the premise. Up here, one thing starts leading to another, then you start taking action, and then you know, like that. So I got all of the piss and vinegar I need about this, and I know that I'm on the right path because you're looking at other people who are not doing what you're doing. So, like I said before, later on they can do what I can't. I want to be like them.
Okay.
So then you start finding out that that everything, just like Black Money said, the U.S. is a business. Exactly. So you, as an individual, have to move
As a business.
like you're a business.
Yeah, like you're a business.
And it's legal ways and whatnot. You have to do that, but you have to change the way you think first. I guess that's the whole point I'm trying to make. Got it up here.
You have to stop being a consumer.
Stop being a consumer. Stop. Be a producer. Be a producer.
Don't be
Earl Nightingale. One of the things that hit me hardest about all of the things that he said is that go into business, but provide something that is needed and useful. Now, you think about how many people you know who's supposed to be in business, but they're not providing a damn thing that's needed or useful.
It has to be a useful service, or then it's just a hobby.
You have to provide something that is needed and useful. Okay. A lot of people call themselves being in business, but they're not providing anything that is needed and or useful. Not really. You know what I mean? I added my own ethos onto that it also must be a necessity, a human necessity. I added on to that. So therefore, every business that I endeavored, anything that I was looking for, had to meet them 3 criteria. Had to be needed, useful, and a necessity.
Needed, useful, and a necessity.
Has to be.
That's how I looked at my degree, the jobs that I wanted to do, and that's how I came up with human resources. Human resources is needed, it's useful, and it's a necessity. Yeah. So always with any job that's a business, is going to have an HR department. So that was the reason I got into HR, and now that I look back on it, I made the right decision.
Right. So, so with that, if you just stay on that, then that will guide you as to what kind of business you should get into. You see what I mean? Not only that, if you have a business, if you get into any kind of business that meets those 3 criteria, it's going to automatically be economy resistant,
right?
Recession resistant,
right?
If you think about it, take, for example, a gas station. You got a gas station, okay? No matter what the recession is, no matter what the hell the economy does, people are going to drive their damn cars. They have to. In this country, they have to. We don't have train systems and everything like they do in Europe. I don't give a damn how many electric bikes and scooters they put out there. People are going to drive their damn cars. And as of right now, most cars run on petroleum products. Okay? So people are going to gas up. Now, they may not buy as much gas. They may bitch and whine about how much it costs, yada, yada, yada. But they're going to buy that gas. And if you're sitting there with a gas station, you are needed, useful, okay, and a necessity. That gas. When's the last time you drove anywhere? When's the last time you've been somewhere and seen a closed gas station? Closed down, out of business gas station. I have seen. Didn't have a brand new one built across the street. Okay. When's the last time you ever seen a closed gas station? Have you ever seen one?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. With the way that it's so hard for these companies to get employees, I've seen gas stations that were supposed to be 24 hours, but they don't have a staff, so they can't be open.
Yeah.
You know they got a gas station that's unmanned. Yeah. Remember the video?
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Unmanned gas station.
Unmanned.
Well, I mean, that's kind of, some places They don't even allow you to pump your own gas.
In New Jersey.
When I went to New Jersey, they wouldn't. Yeah, they got the man out there to pump your gas.
Yeah, they got laws.
That's because it was a carjacking nation.
They got laws about it. But down in Texas, what Gardner's talking about is that it was in Texas. Completely automated gas station, which I kind of dig that idea. I like that.
Yeah, that's a money maker.
We can touch on why that is, why I'm so interested in that. You'll understand as I talk more about the laundromat. You'll understand why.
Okay.
Why I really like that.
So you planned out the laundromat.
Well,
did you do a feasibility?
In my head, the feasibility study. Well, what I did was the way I came up with a laundromat is because of the three principles. It fit the three principles.
Okay.
Like I said, I have been, you got to understand, like I told you before, I've always been looking for something, and I tried different things. One day I was driving somewhere, and I went past a laundromat, and light bulb just came on. It fits all three criteria. I think I was sitting in a parking lot eating a burger, and I was in front of a laundromat, not paying any attention to it. And then I'm staring at it, sitting in the car. And then it occurred to me, laundromat, it meets all three criteria. I wonder what's up with that. So I started researching it, whatnot, looking at it, everything, the requirements, what does it take? And then that's when I found out that, to be honest with you, there really ain't a whole lot of information out there about it. It's one industry that there's not a lot of information out there about it. You got to dig. You got to dig a little bit to find out about the laundromat business. One thing I found out that shocked me was there's no national franchise of laundromats.
Really?
It doesn't exist. That's what I said too. I had that same exact look. I call it the Scooby-Doo look. Okay. No national franchise. There are people who own chains of laundromats, several stores. I have counterparts that I talk to. Some of them own 12 damn stores.
But you want to know something? There's a Laundrolux around the corner from me.
Mm-hmm. It's probably not spelled the same way.
Laundrolux of Newport.
Laundrolux
of Newport.
I'm suing them.
Get them pockets, son.
I'm coming for them. Glad you told me. Where's that at? In
you silly.
I forgot what state. You in St. Louis, ain't you?
No, I'm in Kentucky, man.
Oh, you in Kentucky? Oh, you moved back? Okay, you moved back.
Yeah, Laundrolux of Newport.
Were you in St. Louis for a while?
Because your YWG sent me, because we was looking up information on your laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
And yours came up, but a Laundrolux that's here in Newport came up too.
Oh, okay.
It could be
they spell it the same way I do.
Same. That's how it came up.
Oh, okay. Because I made that name up. I just made it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm looking at a laundromat. So I start digging into it. Come to find out, there's not a whole lot of information about it. There is some, but not a lot.
Was there a lot of was the?
It's kind of like
was the cost to start that business?
Well,
high.
The way it works out, how you get in it. Okay, first of all, when I started researching it, I found out that it costs a hell of a lot of money to pull a laundromat up out the ground. Okay,
to build one from the ground up.
Yeah, to build one from the ground up, you're talking millions of dollars. Okay,
wow.
Depending on how big it is.
Wow.
Depending on how big it's going to be. That's one barrier. That's why I realized that, and it's not something that a lot of people know about, because the fence, the barrier to entry can be quite high. It can be. All right. Because of the cost. You got to build the building, you got to get the land, build the building, you know, a whole bunch. There's a whole lot to it. Okay. If you're trying to start from scratch. So that's what I found out. But in the process of researching it, I also found out that there's a back way in. There's an alternative that you can get in. There's a back way. And the back way is kind of like they left the door unlocked. Okay. It's something that a lot of people don't really think about. And that is you can get into that business without paying all that kind of money. Now, anybody, it's not the kind of business that you can get involved in it with no money, like you hear all the time. You can do this and start with $1. No, it ain't gonna happen. You gotta have some kind of money. You gotta have a little bit of money. Okay. It all depends on how creative you are with how you spend. But as far as the laundromat business itself, it's not something that a lot of people, strive to get into because it's not shiny. That's one thing, and it's not popular. Um, um, it's something that just people don't really think about. They just don't think about it. Um, but they're always there. They're all over the country. there's a there's a what do you call it? A trade group or industry trade group for laundromats. It's called the Coin Laundry Association. And if you go to their website, you can learn a lot about it.
Okay, and what do they do? What do they do for you as a independent owner of a laundromat?
Well, it's a good source of information. The
Okay.
Coin Laundry Association. If you want to, if you can go there, if you're thinking about getting into it, you can go to their website and read about it. That's one of the only sources of information. One of the very few sources of information about that industry. Okay, you got to understand. I knew nothing about that.
It's basically one of the reputable places you can get good information.
Yeah, the Coin Laundry Association is the industry trade body official. Okay. Most laundromat operators are members of the CLA.
That was going to be my next thing. Is this something that you become a member of? Do they send out like monthly newsletters and stuff that's going on in the industry type stuff?
Yeah, just like any other industry. I mean, just like car tires, the tire industry. There's all kinds of trade and whatnot, as you know, for just about every damn thing there is. But with the laundromats, there's no national chain of a laundromat. There are people who have multiple stores. There are even, they have franchises. Well, not franchises, but they have multiple stores, and they all look the same. But there's no like national chain like McDonald's or some shit. You're not gonna go and find.
Now that you say that, I've never been one place and went someplace else, and there was a laundromat that
they're the same.
Never.
Yeah, there's no franchises. There's no franchises. Not real. There are people within a certain market area that may own,
and that's why you would think that somebody would try to get franchisees.
It's been tried, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't. It just doesn't work for some reason. Which I always wonder, how come there's no big box laundromat?
Yeah, I don't.
Where they're all over the place, like Walmart's or something, right? Big boxes have even tried it. Kmart even tried to do that, and it failed. It's just something about it that it just doesn't lend itself to a big box franchise.
I will say this. Tide is trying to do it.
Yeah, I know about the Tide.
How Tide is trying to do it is they got the Tide laundromat, but it's a cleaners as well. You can drop your stuff out to get clean, or you can drop it out to get washed.
Sure. There's Gain too.
I haven't seen Gain. They have a Tide here.
There's Gain. Even
my clothes up.
Even some of the equipment manufacturers have we call those corporate stores. That's what we call them. Some of the equipment manufacturers like Alliance and Dexter, Hipch, Electrolux. Actually, it's not really them. It's mostly Alliance, okay, who will try to do a branded store. We call that a branded store, a corporate store or a branded store. There's the Speed Queen Laundromat. Okay. And they'll try that. And it's nothing new. They'll do it, but it doesn't really work nationwide.
Right.
They try to do it.
The only place that it does work nationwide is people that have contracts with apartment complexes.
Yeah,
Stuff
which
like
is
that.
and that right there, laundry rooms in apartment complexes, right? That's actually a whole nother industry.
Okay, so that's an entirely
different. Yeah, that's a whole nother industry.
So what's the difference between that industry and laundromats?
Size, volume, different
little bitty washing machines,
different business. Can't think of the word right now. Different business plan.
Okay.
You're not servicing. You're servicing different customers. You're servicing a different type of customer.
Okay.
Apartment dweller who uses the laundry facilities within an apartment complex is not the same type of customer that goes to a laundromat.
Okay.
A lot of people try to conflate the two, but
so what is the difference?
What's the difference? The customer, the type of customer. Not only that, how you service the customer, everything. A laundry room in an apartment complex usually has about 3 or 4 machines. Okay. Laundry room, I'll put it this way. A laundry room in an apartment complex is handled more like somebody who does vending machines and has a route.
Okay.
Where they go around and refill the snack machines and get the money. Laundry rooms in apartment complexes are handled that way.
Okay.
You understand? Usually by a separate entity. Usually the apartment, whoever owns the apartment buildings will contract that out.
Okay.
Say, here's my laundry room. Here's all the everything. Put some machines in there. Take care of all that shit. And just give us a piece.
Okay.
That's how that works. Laundromat is completely different. It's not the same thing.
Okay.
Doesn't even work like that. Okay. But as far as the laundromat goes, so all right. So
you were at where basically you had got all the information from.
Yeah, I started researching it. I researched it for about 2 years. For about 2 years.
Time.
Yeah,
2 years?
Yeah, it was at least 2 years.
Okay.
Of learning. You got to learn. So I researched it for about 2 years, learning. And the more you learn about it, that's when you start seeing chinks in the armor. That's when you start seeing holes. That's where you start seeing a way to get in. Okay? It's just like that's what happened. And so I said, okay, laundromat. Now, you got to be mechanically inclined.
That would be my next question.
It's a good idea to not be afraid of a damn wrench. Okay.
I mean, that's with any entrepreneur. You can't be fried. You gotta get your hands dirty.
Yeah, but I mean really dirty. Okay. I mean really dirty. You can't be look, and I'm mechanically inclined. All right. I've always been turning wrenches on my own cars because I grew up without a lot of money. So therefore I'm driving junk. Okay. Smoke bomb.
Smoke bombs.
I bought my first car was a Hyundai Excel hatchback.
Oh my God. That car didn't even have a frame.
Look, that was a 1983, wasn't it? Or 86?
I don't know what year it was.
Yeah,
it was like a 80. Yeah,
it was like 86.
Like I remember 88 something. I walked on the lot and gave him $200. Yeah, I had 8 payments.
Yeah,
paid it off.
Yeah.
It was $86 a month.
Yeah.
No, it was $150.
Yeah. But you know, and then you got that going on. So you got to be, where was I? Mechanically inclined. It helps to be mechanically inclined. Now you take that and then combine that with the fact that I have a background in solid state electronics. That's what I went to school for.
Okay.
Okay. Just like Gardner. Okay. So electricity, and then I took electricity in high school too, because when I was in high school, my path was to become an electrician, but that got changed to electronics. The last year in high school, I took electronics instead of electricity because I transferred schools and they didn't offer electricity, but they offered electronics. So I took that.
So was that a vocation program or was that just a class?
No, that was vocation. That was part of.
That's another problem. That's another problem with schools today.
Yeah.
They don't offer vocation school. There are no more vocational schools.
Yeah, there's no shop.
Everybody doesn't want to go to school.
By design.
Yeah, it's
by design.
There's no shop. I took shop.
They don't have shop no more. They don't have home ec no more. They don't have none of it.
Yeah, all by design.
I took home ec and I took shop. Yeah. Now for me,
home ec, typing, I took all that because I knew I didn't want to work in no restaurant.
I took typing. I had home ec. I took 2 years of typing. I took bookkeeping. I took shop, wood shop. I took that, and then I took electricity. That was also considered shop. And then the other school I went to, Northwestern, the one I graduated from, I took electronics. Okay, like that. But they don't do none of that no more, which is a shame. That is a shame.
There are no vocational schools.
They don't have no vocational. I can believe that.
That's a travesty.
It's crazy.
No vocational school. Everybody doesn't want to go to college.
No,
you shouldn't have to pay to get a vocation.
Yeah. But that right there, anyway. So that's my background. That set me up. That when I graduated high school, I went into tech school to further the electronics stuff. So I have a degree in solid state electronics. All right.
Okay. Does anybody in the chat have any questions for us? He's giving out a whole lot of information. I hope somebody's taking notes. But
like I said, remember I told you before, don't nobody really want to hear this.
Hey man, we had a steady stream of people in here, man.
But y'all twisted my arm, so I'm doing it. Okay, because I said I would.
Because it's valuable information. Even if they don't catch it now, they can catch it on the rebound.
Yeah,
useful. Like you said, it's useful, it's needed, and it's necessary.
Well, I'm trying to. So, okay, where was I? Anyway, basically, you can't be scared. You can't be scared of machinery. You have to be kind of comfortable with machinery. Now, of course, you can always have somebody do your repairs for you. All right. But I'm here to tell you that it's going to cost you quite a bit of money.
It's a service service ticket.
That is gonna eat through your profits, anything that you even thought you was gonna make. Okay, because the thing about a laundromat business, the margins are very slim. Okay, so you will save yourself a lot of trouble if you're willing to do your own repairs, service your own machines.
But the thing about it is, you have the machines that basically tell you what's wrong, and you just got figured out.
Well, I'm getting to that. All right. So after doing my research, that's when I found out that the laundromat industry has changed quite a bit. It has followed along with technology. Okay, current technology. But the weird thing about it is that I found out that people, the consumer, the average consumer, still thinks that laundromats run like they did back in the 70s. Everybody thinks that a laundromat still runs on quarters. Everybody thinks that. And it's amazing to me. It was amazing to me because everything else that people do today, you got a smartphone in your pocket, your fucking car talks, you got all this stuff going on and everything. But you go in a laundromat and immediately you go back to the 1970s and you think it's supposed to be quarters. And where that comes from is the whole idea of the, quote, coin-operated laundromat, which they were long time ago, long decades ago.
Yeah,
They
cards,
were,
yeah.
and there are a lot of them out there today that are still like that. Okay, but people forget the reason that they did it like that back then was because that was the only way to do it. There was no other way to do it. There was no other way to, the machines were mechanical, heavily mechanical. Okay, there was no technology, no logic in them, none of that. That's it. But people are brainwashed, even young people. And they're funny. I mean, when we first opened, they were like, "It's not quarters. It doesn't run on quarters." And I'm like, "You're 23 years old and you're asking me that?" Okay. I'm
Man,
like,
get it.
you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. Now, granted, there are a lot of laundromats out there that still run on coins.
Yeah.
There are a lot. And it's just an old American thing. It is. It's an American thing.
YWG, man, what you got to say, man? What questions you got, man? Because your eyes is getting low over there, man.
No, I'm good, bro.
Getting low, man. What you got to ask, man?
But remember, I've heard this story before. I'm just always intrigued by it.
Yeah, man.
I'm
intrigued, man.
I don't know why.
We are money. I mean, we like money, man. You telling us a story about how to make some money. So
I'm an Aries dude.
I'm
Come on, you know I like money.
I'm always gonna be intrigued about somebody telling me a different way to get money.
Yeah,
but
you remember the conversations you and I used to have at work, man?
Yeah,
money.
Yeah, scheming. We used to call it scheming. And we used to have our scheming and conniving section. Sections. Scheming and conniving, which I love. I love to scheme and connive. I like taking the path least traveled.
Yeah,
that's me. I get a kick out of that. I really do. Especially when you come up with a concept that's different, something that everybody ain't doing, or not.
Yeah.
That everybody is not doing that.
And the thing is,
and then you try it, and then it works.
And see, the thing is that your laundromat is different than a lot of people. I mean, your laundromat is
the stuff that I've seen, man. Your laundromat is light years away from it.
It's over there.
Yeah. Your laundromat is an outlier.
Did y'all go to Facebook and see that? I mean, Google.
Yeah.
Google business. Yeah. Y'all saw me.
Okay. Well, I saw the pictures when you was building.
Yeah, you didn't see the picture. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, when I was building it.
Yeah, but see, it's the main philosophy I always done since I've been a teenager. Mm-hmm. How do you make money while you sleep?
Right.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I always believed in that. How do you make money while you sleep?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me hurry up. Let me get to the crux.
The meat.
Let me get to the meaty.
You start researching the equipment.
Let me get to the meaty
building the equipment. Yeah.
Is that where I stopped at? That was okay.
You at the building.
Okay. So this is what happened. This is what happened. So I decided, yeah, okay. After all the research about the industry and everything, and I learned a lot, that's when I began to see that, okay, I could probably do this. Right? I could probably do this with my background, everything like that. I could probably do this. I ain't scared no damn washing machine and dryer. And then you're talking about commercial equipment. We're not talking about, a lot of people think that it's like the crap that you got in your house that you got from fucking Best Buy. It ain't happening. No. Commercial equipment. You're talking about commercial equipment, and it's expensive. Yeah. I want everybody to understand that shit is not cheap. It's expensive. So the thing is, because it's built completely different. It's industrial. All right. That's why it's expensive. That stuff is built to take a pounding for 25 years straight. Now, of course, it will break down. You have to do maintenance on it, stuff like that. But commercial equipment is like the difference between a car and a pickup truck.
Okay, so 100-pound load, a 50-pound load, a 30-pound load, and a regular size load. Right.
What about it?
100-pounders, I know those are. I know. I mean, it's 100. It can wash 100 pounds worth of clothes in one. So I know that the cost of that is. So did you buy all new equipment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. All right. First thing I realized, and I realized that, you know what? It costs a whole lot of money to build a laundromat, so you don't want to do that. I don't have that kind of money. Okay. I'd have, and you don't want to put yourself that far in debt trying to do that. Okay. But in America, business, the way it's set up here, you can try and fail and try and fail and try and fail. Okay. Um, so I decided, how do you get into that? How do you get into that? Well, look at what a laundromat really is. It's basically a place where you're repackaging gas, water, and electric.
A building.
Yeah, but you're repackaging. But what are you giving? What are you providing? You're repackaging gas, water, and electric utilities. You're repackaging that and selling it. That's
Okay.
really what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay, you got to look at it granular. You got to get granular. Most people, they don't look at stuff like that. Most consumers, they don't look at it. They don't look at the grain. They don't look at what you're really doing. Or most businesses, they don't pay attention to what, because they're just a consumer. They're on the outside looking in. That's one thing. So in a laundromat, you look at the building. Now, if you look at a laundromat, if you were to just walk into a laundromat and look around, what do you think is the most important thing in there? The most valuable thing in there, the most important thing?
Square footage.
That's important, but that's not the most important thing.
The most important thing,
Yeah.
your machinery.
Everybody thinks that. I knew you were going to say that.
No.
I knew you were going to say that. And everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that. I thought that too until I started looking into it.
Location.
The machinery, the location, but I mean, physically.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say location, but you said inside. So,
yeah, inside, and you look at a laundromat. What's the most? What do you think?
The water.
What do you think is the most important thing?
The water, the pipes.
You close. Yep, that's it.
Oh, the infrastructure.
Laundromat. What makes a laundromat valuable is the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, I just told you it costs millions of dollars to pull a laundromat up out the ground. Okay.
You dumping sewage. You dumping a lot of sewage.
Exactly. You go into a old laundromat, an existing laundromat. Damn thing might have been there for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Okay. It's in a concrete building, might be in a strip center, might be a standalone building. But what's important about it, what's valuable, and it looked like a piece of garbage. I mean, garbage. We call those in the industry zombie mats. Okay. This thing looked like death warmed over. All right. Old ass equipment, all of that doesn't matter. See, what you do once you learn about it, you learn to ignore that shit. What you're looking for, what's valuable, is the infrastructure.
Building, inside, the boots, the pipes.
That building, okay. Not only that, all them heavy duty gas lines.
Oh, can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
The water heaters.
That's already in there. That's another thing. The water heater.
The boiler.
The boiler. The heavy duty water heater is going to be 4 times bigger than what you got in your house. All right. You got the heavy duty gas. You got the electric. You got the drains. Okay. You got the water heater. You got everything is heavy duty in order to support those machines. And the building itself. All that infrastructure, that's what costs the money. The equipment, that don't mean shit. But people have it backwards. It's just like you look when you go buy a house. People look at a house and, oh, that's a nice house. Brand new housing development. Oh, that's a nice house. This and that and everything. And they want, how much do they want for that? It's too much money. They want too much money. That's because people only see the house. They don't never think about what it took to make it possible for that house to even be there. They never think about the road work, the sewage, the power, the gas lines, cable, roads into the place, clearing the property and all of that shit. And people never think about that. They just look at how much the house costs. Okay. See, when you start changing the way you think, which is all the shit that I was saying before, you start seeing things that way and you can't help it. It becomes a habit. And that's how you're able to see value where other people don't see it. So you see the building, rundown building, with all that expensive infrastructure in there. Not only that, legally in a lot of municipalities and a lot of towns, if you want to build a new laundromat, they won't let you. And the reason is because of what Gardner said. They don't want you dumping all that shit into their sewer system that they have to process. But if it's an old laundromat and that thing been there for 20, 30 years or whatever, it's grandfathered in. Okay. If you try to come into that town and you try to build a new laundromat, you're going to have to get new clearances and everything. And that is going to cost you a grip.
Zoning issues. You're going to have to grease a whole lot of
Zoning.
hands.
They got regulation. You got to deal with all the regulation. But if it's an old laundromat, it's grandfathered.
So basically, if you're looking to start a laundromat, you want to look for something that's already established.
Yeah.
That may not be open or may be on its last legs.
Exactly. A zombie mat. Now, that's part one. That's part one. So that you already dodged. That smell burning. You already dodged huge expense. Okay. Now I'll tell you with laundromats. So the second part is, let's say you find one. So what I did is I started looking everywhere. Commercial websites where, you know, they do commercial real estate, right? Driving around, everywhere. My store, I found it of all places on Craigslist. Yeah. And
Craigslist. For sale.
No, it wasn't for sale. It wasn't for sale.
No.
That's another thing. That's another thing I want to let people know is you don't buy a laundromat. Don't you go out there and buy no damn laundromat.
Yeah, you rent the space.
Yes.
Or you get a long-term agreement.
Okay. So I found it on Craigslist. Now what you want to do is I found it on Craigslist, and what happened was it's in front of an apartment building complex, a small apartment building property. There was a guy, and it was part of the property. Okay. There was a guy who bought the property, and the laundromat came with it. The laundromat was not operational.
Wow.
Okay. All of the it had been there for years. It had been where my store is. It's in a small town. Okay. It's in a sub-rural, what I would call a sub-rural area. Okay. And it's 80 miles away from where I live at one way.
Okay, so it's 80 miles from your house.
Yeah, it's 80 miles one way.
Okay.
So because it's 80 miles, you had to think a little differently on how to run it.
That's what I was leading into.
Yeah.
That's what I'm leading into.
I'm just setting it up.
Yeah. I know. You said it. Okay. So this is what happened. I found this place. Now I done looked at a whole lot of places. I done drove to a lot of places. There was one way up in Hagerstown. Then I turned that one down because it was on the second floor. Okay. You don't want that. And reason being is you don't want anything. There's certain types of buildings. It was a laundromat, but the equipment that they had in there was the old top loader kind. And what I was going to put in there was different kind.
It's too heavy?
It would have been, when it goes into spin, it would have went through the floor. Okay. So you have to know what to look for. You have to know what kind of building that to look for. All right. Anyway, so I looking around, and I found this one place. Okay. I don't know if I said it already, but you do not buy a laundromat.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can reiterate that though. Do not buy a laundromat.
People think, oh, I want to start a laundromat or whatever. They want to run out and purchase a laundromat. You don't do that. The reason that you don't do that is because, one, chances are you ain't got the money. Okay. Chances are you ain't got the money, and you ain't going to get no loan big enough to be able to do that. Not only that, you can run into a whole lot of problems. And if you do decide you want to buy a laundromat, make sure you do all your research. Make sure you look at all of the paperwork, all of their records, everything that the seller, because people will lie big time in a laundromat. They'll make you think that it's doing a whole lot better than it is. But anyway, back to
cooking the books.
Anyway, back to, so I find this place. It's empty. All the infrastructure is in there. Okay. I'm talking to the guy that bought the apartment complex that came with that building, that one commercial building. Okay. He's telling me all about the building. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll come out and take a look at it. I go out there, take a look at it. Everything is there because it used to be a laundromat. Been a laundromat for the past 30, 40 years. Okay. But it's out of business, closed up. All the equipment's gone. Everything. I think I got pictures. I don't think I got any that y'all can get to, but I got pictures. I took pictures, I'm canvassing. You got to do your research. You got to look at places. You got to, what do you call it? Due diligence. I'm looking at it. They got a boiler in there. He's got a boiler in there that's the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. I mean it. It's actually the size of a Volkswagen Beetle with a storage tank on it. Now that boiler is an old boiler, but it runs. Heat that water. But it's that big because that thing is that big because the machines that they were in there before were the top loaders and they use a whole lot of water. So you get a boiler. Boiler's working. Yeah, that's it. So I'm looking at everything and I'm like, okay, this looks good. Could probably do something. Now here is the important part. He wants to lease the building. But he's thinking, because again, people don't know much about this business. He's thinking, strip out everything and basically make it plain vanilla and then lease it out to somebody who wants to have a tattoo shop or some shit. Okay. That's what he's thinking.
He wants to unlaundromat it.
Right. And what happens with that is, so I told him, when I talked to him on the phone and he was telling me what he was going to do and everything, because he wasn't offering it to rent out as a laundromat. He was just offering it to rent out as a commercial space. Okay. And he's an electrician, by the way, by trade. Okay.
Okay.
And when he talked to me, when I got him on the phone and he talked to me, I told him because he said, yeah, I was getting ready to pull out the drains and some of the drainage that's above the floor and everything, because in this building all the drainage is below the concrete slab, because the building was built out originally as a laundromat from Jump Street. Okay, so all your drainage, and which is great because all your drainage is iron pipes and all that stuff under the concrete slab. All right.
Okay.
The only other drainage for the machines is above the slab behind the machines in the bulkhead. All right. So, I almost forgot something really important. Well, I can add that. I can add that little part later.
Hey,
so anyway,
also too, before we end tonight, I'm looking at that little screen behind you. I know what it is, but a lot of people don't know what it is.
Little screen behind what?
Behind you. The little screen.
That?
Huh?
That right there?
This? Yes.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna talk about that before you hang up.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to hurry up, but it's been 5 years we've been running, and I had to go through a whole lot. That place almost fucking killed me.
So this day right here, when you cut the ribbon, was that your official opening day?
Yep, that's right. All of those people, that picture right there. I don't know where the hell did you get that picture? Are those on Facebook?
No, Google.
Yeah, Google. Oh shit, yeah, that's right.
Oh, this is like a website. This is all your info.
Yeah, I forgot about that Google Business, my profile. But those pictures, I thought I changed some of them. Yeah, all them people. That was the mayor of the town, and
oh really?
Yeah, the mayor is there. I'm holding a pair of scissors. You see, the mayor was there. That was on when we did the ribbon cutting, because the whole town supported, and because I was bringing something to the town that they had 2 other laundromats in the town, but everybody hated them.
Have you ran them out of business yet?
No. Everybody hated him. Everybody hated him. The person who ran the store that I took over, everybody hated him too. Okay. And
they look like they love you.
Well, I went in there and I renovated and rebuilt that entire store. And I brought basically, and I'm not bragging or anything, I brought to them something that they didn't have before. Okay. I brought a good thing to the town. And, for anybody that's interested, the demographics of that town is mostly, it is.
Yeah.
So
But that whole thing, I'll talk about that real quick too.
this is the most this is the most amazing thing about your whole story to me is how long it took. I mean, how quickly it took for you to basically pay everything off.
Well, it wasn't quick. It took a few years.
I mean, you say it wasn't quick, but in terms of some of the years that I've heard for people to get out of the hole and to be 100% making profit is much longer than what it took you. When you're talking about something of the size of what you took on.
Yeah. So, all right. I looked at the building. I thought into my head, okay, I could probably do this. I got a building. And I already knew that when you go to get the equipment, though, you got to go to distributors. Okay. Now, there are different manufacturers who have different, they're different manufacturers, and then they have each one of them has their own distributor network, right? Through my research, I found out that the major machine manufacturers are Alliance Laundry Systems, who make several different brands. Speed Queen, Hipsch, Ipso is what they're most known for. Those three right there come from Alliance. And then there are Dexter. Dexter is Dexter, and they have distributor network. And then there's Electrolux, okay, and Wascomat. All right, good machines, all of them. The Wascomats and the Electrolux, those come from Sweden. All right, so I started researching all the equipment, everything like that. Now, here's the thing: when you go to your distributor, you will find out that a distributor will not take you seriously if you come walking in the door saying, "I want to open a laundromat and I want to get some equipment. How much do it cost?" They're going to just look at you, laugh at you, and they're just going to look at you because they're not going to take you seriously. They're not. And the reason why is because they hear it all the time. Okay? They hear that all the time. They know that just the fact that you come in there talking like that, they already know you don't know nothing. Okay? However, your distributor is very important. They're very important. They're your key. They're key. Okay? But so that's why what you want to do is once you find your building, you find your location, one that you think can work, then you secure that building with the landlord. Now you have to understand, here's the game with the landlord. A lot of times with a laundromat, the building is being leased out. The former operator ran the business into the ground, or they just gave up and walked away, because that happens a lot. All right. A laundromat will kick your ass if you don't know how to handle it. Some of them have been running a laundromat for years and years and years. All of the equipment has lost its useful life, and the owner of the place is ready to retire, and he just said, "Fuck it, I'm leaving." It does happen, believe it or not, because you got to think that equipment, you bought that equipment a long time ago, you paid for it a long time ago, that thing you kept it running and everything, and it's been paying you for decades. Now it's time for you to bounce. So a lot of times what they'll do, or something else happened out of the control. Maybe, who knows? Something else happened. Maybe a big laundromat, mega mat, Godzilla mat down the street opened up, which will kill you if you're small. So when you're doing your research, you make sure you check your market area and see what's around you. Okay. What kind of competition you got, yada, yada, yada. Okay. You make sure you do all that stuff, and your distributor, once you get them to take you seriously, your distributor will help you with all of that.
So did it take more than one conversation with your distributors for them to come on board with what you were trying to do?
Well, I was going to tell you.
Did you have to talk to several?
I was going to tell you how it happens. So all of this that I'm saying, so check your market area. You got yourself a building. You talk to the landlord. Now, landlords, A lot of times what they'll do is, especially if they don't know anything about the business, like I told my landlord when I was talking to him on the phone and he was talking about ripping out all the plumbing and shit, I told him, put down the goddamn reciprocating saw. I'll do nothing else until I get there. Because I told him I'm in the business of this and you got a building and I want to come and see what you got. Don't take out nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't start pulling the copper and stuff.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Because if I'm going to take it from you, I said, if it meets my purposes, then I'm going to take it like it is with everything already in it. It's not occurring to him how valuable that shit is. It's not occurring to him. If you're going to put another laundromat, it's not occurring to him. So I go out there, we talk, I look at it, everything, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I convince him that I know what I'm doing. Even though I just learned yesterday. But I convince him that I know what I'm doing. Okay. So, and he was new, and in his defense, he was new at being a landlord because he's got those apartments behind the building that he's renovating and he's going to rent them all out. Okay. And everything like that. This is his one commercial building, so he doesn't know. He tries to so we discuss a lease. Now with a laundromat, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you do a very long lease, 20 years or more. Okay. Reason being is because laundromat equipment is designed to last about 25 years. All right.
Okay.
Not only that, you don't, and when you do your lease, you want to make sure that you protect yourself, that if the landlord that you made the lease with sells the property, the building that you're in, the new landlord can't come in and mess with you. They have to honor the existing lease. That's another thing. And the third part of it is you want to do a really long lease.
So what is that, a irrevocable trust?
No. It's just a lease.
That's drawn up into the lease that if he sold it, then
see, the thing that you got to understand is with a laundromat, you're going to go to the landlord, whoever owns the actual building. You're going to go to them and you're going to offer to them a 20+ year lease. Nobody else does that. That's one thing. So if you got a landlord, so you have to understand, let's say you got a zombie mat, it's closed down, landlord owns the building, he's stuck with a building. See, this is the game. He's stuck. Look at it from his perspective. He's stuck with this damn building that he can't do nothing with. Like Gardner was saying, if he tries to unlaundromat a laundromat, it's going to cost him so much money once he finds out how much it really costs. It's going to cost him a fortune. He ain't going to want to pay that because you got to understand that landlord probably bought that property, that strips. Let's say it's in a strip center. Right, it's a little strip center, and down at the end is the laundromat. And the landlord who owns the strip center, when he bought the strip center, the laundromat down on the end was operating fine, and the other businesses, the sub shop, the barber shop, all of that shit was running fine, right? And he was getting his rent. Then the laundromat operator bounced. Okay, the laundromat operator might have already been there for 25 years. All of his machines are old and falling apart, and he don't want to do it no more. So what do? Turn off the lights and leave. Stop paying rent too. So now you got this So now you got this landlord stuck with this damn laundromat with all this old ass equipment in there. The place is falling apart, and he don't know what to do with it. He don't know what to do. His business is not laundromat. His business is rent. You understand?
Then you brought all this equipment.
Huh?
Then you brought all this equipment.
No, you got to understand. There's another step to it. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you got this laundromat. So you got this laundromat operator. I mean, you got this landlord who owns the property, full of old, broke down machines, and all that shit. And he can't get no rent for that square footage. So you understand? He's not getting anything. The guy that was running the laundromat, who was leasing the space from him, is gone. He's gone. Chances are he's in Thailand. All right. Okay. So here's the deal. So what you do in that position, you catch a landlord who's in that position. Now, what the landlord has already done, he's already locked the door. He done already thrown the chain on the door. Okay, because the original operator, the tenant, commercial tenant running the laundromat is gone. When you go to see about that building, that space, you have to take the posture of, I am your savior. I am going to save you. You have to stand like that, talk like that. Explain to them, I understand your plight, my son, but I am now here to save you because this business is what I do. I'm going to come in here. First off, you're going to start getting rent again. And you're going to get rent for 20 years. Straight up. From me.
He thought about that. It was no brainer.
Okay. And not only that, however, in order to get the rent and all that kind of stuff, in order to get the rent, you're going to have to play ball. You're going to have to play ball. Now, first thing is, you're going to have to give me a square footage rate below market average. Cheap square footage. You're going to have to do some make ready. I need you to do some fixing up for me. Now, I'm going to tell you what to do. Okay. In order to get it ready for me to bring, for me to move into here. Now, a lot of landlords, the first thing they're going to do is be like, no, I don't want to spend nothing. Okay. Okay. You don't want to, they're going to they're hard headed and they're greedy. They don't understand what you're offering them. You are offering salvation is what you're doing. The first thing usually most landlords, the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth is, well, I ain't doing all that. I'll just turn it into plain vanilla. Meaning, gut it, take all the machines out, gut it, and it'll just be a big empty room, and then a dress shop or something will move in here. Some shit. Right? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. That's because they have no fucking idea. Anytime they come back at you like that, they don't have any fucking idea. So what you say is, okay, after you've given your proposal, all right, you say, okay, fine. Tell you what, if the situation changes, make sure that you contact me. Okay. And then go on about your business and go look at other properties. Usually what will happen is after the landlord has figured out how much it's going to really cost to unlaundromat a laundromat. Okay. Once they find out that it costs more to unlaundromat a laundromat than a lot of times than it does to build one. Okay. Because you got to pull up everything. You got to bust up the concrete and pull up all them drains. You got to get licenses to mess with all that stuff. The gas, the contractors, especially here in America, the contractors. You ain't getting, look, it's going to cost. Ooh. And when they find out that either I spent all this money to gut the place so that I can lease it to somebody else, because you can't lease it to nobody in its current condition with all that infrastructure because it's dangerous. Okay. Once they find that out and they realize it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money, then they start coming to their senses. Then they say, well, wait a minute. If I spend all this money and do that, I don't have a guaranteed tenant who's going to come in and take the empty space and make it into a sneaker shop. Okay. I don't have that. However, this one guy did come and visit me and said that he'll take the building the way it is. All I got to do is throw a little paint on the walls, maybe put new drop ceiling in, and maybe give them a new tile floor. That's all I got to do. Watch how fast your phone start ringing. Once they realize, and he didn't want to pay my exorbitant rental rate, but he's going to be here. He's willing to sign a 23-year lease. You see what I'm saying? None of my other tenants are going to be, all of my other commercial tenants have this sort of business where not only that, you've also told him that he's going to ask for a deposit, but I'll get to that. So he'll call you back and say, I've reconsidered and, maybe we should talk some more. And you say, oh, really? Oh, okay. Are you still interested? And he'll say, yeah, I'm still interested, in this. And you go out there and you look at it again and you talk to him. All right. And you tell them, deal still stands, whatever. Be a person of integrity. Talk to them and everything. And then what he's going to do is a lot of times landlord, they're going to ask for a deposit. Your answer should be immediately no. No. And you tell them why. The reason why is because, listen, I don't want to give you a deposit. I can't do that because it's going to tie up my money. And I need that money to get this place standing back up again. Giving it to you for you to just stick it in your pocket and have it do nothing doesn't work for me. So you got to make them understand that I'm saving your ass. You're not doing shit for me. I'm saving you. You see what I'm saying? You have to come with that kind of, call it arrogant, call it whatever the hell you want to, but you're negotiating from a position of strength. You're not asking, you're telling. If you want to make this money, you want this rent, okay, and you want it for a good long time, you're going to listen to what I say. Okay.
I mean, after somebody after someone walks away from the negotiating table, and then they come back. I mean, the dynamic.
They're gonna balk at first because they're used to being the one. They're used to being the one. They're used to being the dog, and you're the tail. In this case, you're the tail, and they're the dog, and you're gonna wag them. Okay. Because think about it. You got nothing to lose. You may want the location. You may want the building. You may this and that, but you got a lot of work ahead of you and you got nothing to lose. He has everything to lose. You just have to remember that. You see what I'm saying? So pull your nuts out and put them on his forehead. Okay? Tell him, look. Because people are greedy as hell. And
That's your boy, man.
You a wild dude, man.
Okay? People are greedy as hell. And a lot of these landlords and people that own a lot of property and everything, they think they are King Romulus of the world. Okay? Screw that dude. All right? You're trying to help him out. Make him what the point I'm trying to make is make him understand that. Okay? We're going to work together. I'm not going to be your slave. Okay? This ain't of an apartment building and shit. Okay? Okay? And when they ask for a deposit, you tell them no. You get nothing. Ain't going to be no deposit. Well, you got to put it. I don't have to put no deposit. You tell them the reason why, but you give them a good reason. And the reason is you tell them simply, look, I'm going to come in here and retool this place. All right. I'm going to come in here with all brand new equipment to the tune of a couple of $100,000 worth of brand new equipment. And that brand new equipment is going to be bolted to your floor. I will be the only tenant that you have that cannot pack up in the middle of the night, break the lease, and disappear on you. I'll be the only one in your little strip center here that cannot do that. So there's your guarantee. Plus, we got at least 23 years. All my stuff is here. I'm going to invest a whole lot of money. Okay. I need that money to be able to do that. And two, that's your insurance policy that I'm going to be here. Giving you a deposit just for you to hold is not going to happen because of that. Your insurance, your deposit is me moving in here with all my stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm bringing couple $100,000 worth of equipment in here, I'm not going nowhere overnight.
Exactly. So why the hell do I got to give you a security deposit?
Yeah,
your security is the fact that I'm even there.
Good point. Good point.
And if you don't want to do that, peace, deuces, kick rocks.
I hope y'all are listening in the chat. I hope y'all taking notes.
Do it. Peace, deuces,
y'all taking notes.
Kick rocks. And then you'll get a landlord. So dealing with landlords, that's the thing. You have to deal with them. You have to deal with them fairly. Be fair.
Heavy fist.
But be firm.
Yep. Don't
let them make you think that they're doing you a favor about, well, I'll go ahead and lease the place to you.
Nah.
Nah. I'm saving your bacon.
Right.
And you know that I am. Right. Because if you don't want to do it, it's already a laundromat.
You just say no.
If you don't want to do it, just say no and I'll walk away. No problem.
Right. Okay. Like, share, subscribe to YWG and to Maas Apeal. Like, share, subscribe.
Mm-hmm. So, I get the place. We make a lease, and the funny thing about it is, like I said, he never did the landlord thing before. for apartments, and it's certainly not for a commercial building. Now, people should understand that a commercial lease is different than a
Right.
residential lease. Okay.
Right. Right.
He didn't. So I educated him a bit on some things, because you remember now, you're going to be working with this person for a long time. So you want to have a good relationship. Okay. But at the same time, you want it to be, mutually beneficial. All right. So he basically tried to offer me a lease that is usually used for residential. Okay. I'm like, no, I don't think so. It's not going to work. You have to understand that this is commercial, and my needs and blah, blah, blah are going to be different because it's commercial. So what I did is I wrote the damn lease, the commercial lease. Okay.
He let you write the lease.
Yeah, he did. He let me write the lease. Okay. I wrote the lease, the commercial lease. And of course, I was fair.
Yeah, I bet you was fair.
I was fair.
Man,
But I just made sure.
You came across a hell of a deal.
But, well, I just, I was fair. Be fair, be honest, all of that. I'm not about, beating nobody. Okay.
Right.
Especially taking advantage of somebody who did, no. But I was fair. But of course, I made sure that I had certain protections, advantages, okay, in there. And I gave it to him, and he took it to his lawyer. And his lawyer looked over it, and his lawyer approved it. Everything's cool. And that's the lease we've been running off of for the past, since the beginning. Okay. Anyway, and people who want to do this, you might want to look up commercial leases. You want to make sure with a laundromat too that you make the landlord responsible for the roof and everything under the slab, at least at the bare minimum, especially everything under the slab being the plumbing under the slab.
So is your landlord still, like, if something happens in the building, he still has to get it fixed?
Depending on what it is. Like I said, in the lease, see, all of that's covered in the lease. Certain things he's responsible for, certain things he's not responsible for. It's on me.
That's concessions that you gave him in the lease?
Well, yeah. Like I said, you got to be fair. There are certain things that, that don't have nothing to do with the building that I can't make him responsible for.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you got insurance, so yeah, you straight.
Yeah, I got insurance. Yeah, you're gonna have business insurance. You got to have that.
Exactly.
But certain things like a couple of times the roof started leaking, right? Well, in the lease, he's responsible for the roof, right? Because you got to look at it this way: you don't want to have anything going wrong with the building that prohibits you from conducting business,
right?
Okay, and that's how I put it to him too. Okay. My drains in the floor, like I said, that particular building was built out to begin with as a laundromat. So it's got heavy duty drains under the concrete foundation. Okay. If something happens underneath that concrete foundation, that's on him.
Okay.
You don't want to take on that. The boiler, because you had mentioned the boiler, there was already a giant boiler in there.
Man.
And a storage tank. Okay. The deal with the boiler is first repair of the year. If it needs a repair, needs service, the first one I pay for, the second one he pays for in that same year.
Okay.
And I've had to exercise that like once already. All right. Something happened with the boiler. I had to call the people to come and fix it, and I paid for it. Then something happened to it again, and he had to pay for it. Okay. Because it was the second time in the same year.
And
that's fair. That's fair. That boiler is a good boiler. Make sure you look at whatever existing equipment is in there. I urge people to take a look at it and make sure that have it checked and make sure that it's going to function, and if it has to be replaced, try to get the landlord to replace it. Now, some of the mistakes that I made with that was I probably should have had him do a bit more with the building before I took it over. Okay. But like I said, I never did it before. So you're going to make mistakes. Okay. You're going to mess up. There's no way. You can research, do whatever you want. You're going to still mess up.
It's trial and error. You just can't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah. And you just make sure that whatever mistakes you do make sure that they are not catastrophic.
Right. Not big.
Yeah, not a big mistake, but you're gonna mess up. So anybody who's scared to mess up, don't be scared to mess up. You're gonna
If
mess
you
up.
ain't failed, you ain't trying.
Exactly. You know, what's the old saying? If you show me a man who has never failed, and I'll show you a man who has never accomplished, who has never attempted anything.
Right.
So, okay. So I get the building. Now I got a whole lot of work ahead of me. Now, the business plan is this. You've looked at your market area. You see what you're up against in terms of other competition. You see what you're up against. Go visit, take a look, wash a load of clothes in the other guy's place. Okay? Yeah. Sit around, see how they operate, what they're doing good, what they're doing bad. You can even chit chat with them, but don't tell them that you're about to be his
Man,
competition.
you did all that, then you in the newspaper with the scissors.
Yeah. Dude, that right there, I can tell you about that later, what happened, but
Oh man, I know. Yeah, I know they was coming for you, man.
it's a small town. Word travels fast in small
That's the
towns.
dude that was over here asking me about my machines.
You a wild boy.
So, okay, now here's the thing. So I got the building secured, right? And I made it contingent on me, the lease. I made it contingent on me being able to secure the equipment. All right. So if I can't get the equipment, I can't do nothing. All right. He signed the lease. I signed the lease. We got an active lease. Okay. Now the building's mine. All right. Now that you have an active lease and you got a building, that's when you go to your distributor, equipment distributor. Strategy. I told you there are multiple manufacturers. Each of them have their own distribution network.
We'll put them against each other.
Exactly. You go and see all three of them. But this time when you walk through the door, you say, hey, I need some laundromat equipment. I'm opening up a laundromat. And they'll look at you and be like, yeah, what can we do for you? What you want? Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And then you say this, the magic words. I got a building that used to be a laundromat.
Yep.
And I need to fill it with equipment. Now, who's going to do it? Watch
You
how
had their
fast.
attention. You
Watch
had
how
their
fast.
attention.
Watch how fast they. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. What's up? What can we do? What can we do for you? Hi, my name is Jim. Uh-huh. And Jim is the same one that gave you the stank eye 3 months ago when you came in there asking about stuff. You have a building. And especially if it was already a laundromat. You got a building. So that what does that sound like to the distributor? Sales.
Machines.
Because they know that you have a building. That means you're serious.
Machines.
You got an empty location. Distributor only care about machines. They want to sell. Then they start taking you seriously. They treat you altogether different. And what you do is you talk to every distributor for the different equipment. Now, as far as what equipment, that's up to you. Because it's pretty much not all that much of a difference. You'll hear during your research, this one is better than this one, that one is better than the other one, yada, 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 whatever. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Okay? You go with what you like the most. Okay? You're going to hear it left and right. Then what you do is you set up your appointment for the distributor's salespeople to come out to your site.
I was going to ask you that.
And what you try to do, if you can swing it, what you try to do is you have them come out there all at the same time.
No, you didn't, man. You didn't do that.
Ruthless.
I did. I had Alliance. I had my distributor, the one that I actually went with, their guy. And the two others.
And they all know each other too. They look at me.
Yeah, they all know, and they all know each other.
Like, what the hell you doing here?
Well, they knew what I was doing. They knew, ain't nobody stupid. They knew what I was doing. And
well,
they all know
wild. Yeah, man. I'm gonna work with you. I'm gonna work with you, Marshall, man. I'm gonna work with you, man.
You gotta you gotta play. You gotta, it's business.
Then they start looking at you, smiling like this dude here.
Well, they knew about that. They knew why I did that. They knew why I did that because I figured like this. See, I looked at it like this. I said, well,
I ain't going to do this 3 times. Y'all going to all come. We're going to do this 1 time.
Yeah, y'all come out, take a look at my building, see what I got. We talk, listen to my ideas, what I'm planning, have a plan, okay, which is another thing. But you bring them out, let them look at the equipment, let them look at the building, everything. And then what they'll do is they will basically bid the job, right? Talk about the different levels of equipment, yada, yada, yada. So you'll go through all that. Your best distributor is going to be the one who provides you with the most helpful information in terms of your market, where you're located. Now, the distributor that I ultimately ended up going with, they did an entire market study for me. They drove around and visited other the competition and wrote reports. Yeah, they did. They wrote reports based on what they could see. Like one of my competition, this is all for me. They go in there and they looked at the other places that are going to be competing with me, okay, and gave their assessment of their operation too. One of them came back and said, yeah, this place is so many miles away from where our target, is, and their equipment is this brand, and it's at least 25 years old, and the inside of it looks dated. The reason why the distributor does this report is because they have to take that report and submit that to the manufacturer.
Right.
Now, here's the key. Why do they need to do that? Because with the laundromat business, now here's the beauty of it, and I hope people are listening. With the laundromat business, unlike a lot of other business, it's weird. It's a little weird. Banks and your standard financial places where you go get loans typically don't understand it. They don't. Okay? So because of that, most of your manufacturers are willing to do in-house financing. All right? Now, if they're going to do in-house financing, they rely on their distributors to tell them what they think, because it's your distributors who are boots on the ground. They know what's going on.
Is this guy going to be open for 20 years?
Do y'all think that this dude is going to make it? Right? Is he going to make it? Is he going to make it at least for the duration of the length of the financing agreement for the equipment? Is he going to make it long enough to be able to pay off this equipment? That's what we think. And they rely on the distributor.
Yeah.
To kind of tell them that. And in you working with the distributor, you rely on the distributor too to give you an experienced assessment of whether you're going to make it or not. See, it doesn't do the distributor any good. They can sell you the equipment and make the money, but it doesn't do them any good to have you fail.
No.
You see what I mean? Yeah, because you're going to be buying parts and things like that from them for a long time. You're going to have a relationship with them. And on top of that, if you decide to even open up another store, you're going to go to your same distributor if they are allowed to service your market area where that new store is located, because distributorships have territories.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do. You can't be in some other distributor. You can be with the same manufacturer, but if you're in a different zone, then you have to go with the distributor for that manufacturer in that area. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just like almost like a franchise, almost. So they protect they protect territory. All right. Anyway, so I ended up going with Alliance Laundry Systems, and I picked Speed Queen equipment. One reason I picked Speed Queen equipment is because it's a well-known name. Okay. Anyway, but the others are well-known too. So, like Dexter. But I went with them. Now,
Dexter must be the good one because she keeps saying it like Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter is good. Dexter has been around for a real long time. Dexter's good.
No, I'm talking about they must cost a lot because you like them damn Dexter.
Yeah, the Dexter Thoroughbred 3000. Yeah, but I went with Speed Queen because Speed Queen been around. Speed Queen is 100-year-old
many
company.
years.
Yeah, it's Speed Queen's actually 100 years old.
Yeah.
But anyway,
my grandmother had the Speed Queen that was rolled that do like this.
With the rollers.
With the rollers.
Yeah. Speed Queen been around a long ass time. They're owned by Alliance Laundry System, and there's like 3 other brands. Hipsch is another one. That's an old name, and they're owned by Alliance and Ipso, Ipso. Anyway, so I ended up going with Alliance. I ended up going with the distributor that sells Alliance. Now, here's the part. So I got the building. I got my distributor. And I told thank you to all the other distributors who came out and gave me assessment and talked and everything. And I wrote them a letter telling them who I went with and why. Okay.
That's only right.
It's only right. Yeah. Okay. Now, why did I go with Alliance Laundry Systems? Because of technology. Okay. Remember, my store is 80 miles away from where I live at. So I had to think about, damn, dude, how you gonna do this?
This is where we get to the good part of the story.
Yeah, this. I had to tell all that in order because I don't. Otherwise,
if you were still in the live with us, this is the good part. You stayed this long, you got to stay and listen to this part.
Yes.
Okay. So 80 miles away, got everything secured, but actually, I kind of had to figure this out before I even tried to do it. How do you do this? You're 80 miles away from that place. Most laundromats, they have an attendant. You don't want to have an attendant because that's an employee. Whole bunch of problems on its own. But there's ways to have an attendant and even get around that. And, I can talk about that a little later, whatever you want to. So how am I going to run a place? How am I going to deal with a place that's 80 miles away from where I live at? One way. All right. So that's 160 miles round trip.
Yeah.
Right. Well, during all of the equipment research and everything like that, I learned a whole lot. The equipment in the industry has changed quite a bit since when I was a kid. Okay. All of this. Everything is internet based. It's IoT, Internet of Things. The equipment that Speed Queen offered is internet capable. You can control, they have these machines, you put a network in your store, the machines connect to the network. You can control them from a laptop computer or even a phone. Payment system. All of this goes back to when I was planning out the store. I said, okay, what you need to do, how you going to compete? I really should have started there. How you going to compete with the other people? The way you're going to compete with the other people is very simple. You're going to build a store that is nicer than what people would otherwise normally expect, which will create perceived value. You look nicer. Your machines are technologically advanced. You operate in a different way. All of that. Now, some people are going to accept it. Some people are just stuck in their ways. They just want to put a quarter. Okay? And my machines do take quarters. They will take quarters, but you got to bring your own. We don't give you quarters. We ain't got no changer.
So your machines take American Express, Visa, MasterCard, Discover?
Take everything.
And that's connected to...
What about EBT?
That's your machine and it's connected to the internet.
The EBT thing that you bring up, that's interesting. On a side note, the laundromat industry is trying to get the federal government to consider laundry under EBT, like grocery.
Wow. Really?
And we as an industry, those of us in the industry, you can best believe we have been fighting for that.
Of course.
Do you know what that will mean? Okay. And if you have an electronic payment system in your store, you can easily accept EBT cards.
Wow.
All it takes is a little bit of configuration with the equipment. with the
Man, that's a whole lot of 100-pound loads.
Man, good.
Now,
I hope it happens.
now,
Okay.
now, Marshall, Black Money got a question. Can you tap your machines?
Can you tap your machines?
You got
with
the tap.
The Wi-Fi, the little chip tap.
Yeah.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. Actually,
I didn't know that.
Oh,
yeah, you can. You can start a machine. At least in my shop, you can start a machine off your phone.
Get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah, you don't need. Yeah, you can start a machine off your phone. You can tap. What you're talking about is he's talking about NFC.
Yeah.
So
That's what he's talking about.
I mean, okay. Before we go any further,
Okay.
did you take any? I mean, just from everything that you're saying, did you take any of the other laundromats in your area's customers, or do you now just have more people that are using your place that are in the 10-mile vicinity?
Okay. What happened was, okay, I planned everything. We're gonna be a different kind of laundromat compared to what is already on offer in the town.
Okay.
That the laundromats that are on offer in the town, as far as physical size, we're all roughly the same. Okay. So my strategy, my business, what do you call it? Strategy, plan,
How to take food off their plate.
my approach was basically, like I said, I'm gonna bring to market that market. And then you gotta understand too that laundromats are local, the radius. You don't really have to worry about anybody that's more than 5 miles outside of your circumference, your market area. Okay. You don't really have to do that because that's another market. My thing was look at what they don't have, and then you have it. Okay. Offer. I mean, that comes atmosphere, experience. You bring a higher quality experience, and you're going to have to do that. See, the logic was this. Everybody likes nice, even if they can't afford it. Everybody likes nice. So if you make something look nicer, be nicer than they would otherwise normally expect out of a laundromat or anything for that matter, they're going to come see you because everybody likes nice. You see? So even though it's a laundromat, you make it nicer than every other laundromat. You have technology, you have amenities that the rest of them don't. Not only that, the other two laundromats became complacent. They've been there for so long, they don't feel like they have to do anything. So you're coming in there and jumping in their sandbox, and you're going to kick sand in their face. That's the idea. Okay? You're going to wake them up. And it's funny that it worked. Now, so what I did when I planned out the store, I'm using all brand new equipment, Speed Queen. And everybody knows that shit, that it's good stuff. 100-year-old company. Not only that, they're internet capable. So that would allow me to be able to deal with my customers from anywhere that I have an internet connection. Should I need to control the machines? You program the machines that way. I can start machines, everything. My payment system is electronic. We're a hybrid, what they call a hybrid store in the industry. Electronic and coin or coin. Either one you want to do. However, we do tell the customer that we don't provide coins.
So Marshall, I had a question.
Okay.
The machine that we're looking at right now, the real big one.
Yeah.
That's what pound is that?
That's an 8-load machine.
So 80-pounder?
80-pounder.
Okay, so the one that's next to your car distributor.
That's
no, not that one. The one front and center.
No. I'm saying is the one that's next to the car distributor. Is that a bigger one than the one you're speaking on?
No.
Is that a dryer? That's a dryer.
That's an 80-pound dryer.
Okay, so okay.
You can't have an 80-pound washer and no 80-pound dryer.
So 80 pounds are the largest ones that you have?
Yeah, those are my biggest. And then the ones over, and then you look at the 80-pounder and you go over to the left, down that road, there's 4 machines. Those are 60. Okay. 60-pounders. And then on the other side, to the right, There's another row. Those are 30-pounders. And then further over, there's another row with 40s. And then I got stacked machines in the back where you have a 20-pounder at the bottom washer and a dryer that's 20 pounds at the top.
Okay.
All right.
What
Yeah,
are
those are
these?
my 40s. Those are my 40s.
Those are 40s.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
then
40 pounds. Okay, so was one load
4 loads.
10 pounds?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Typically in the industry. Now, of course, that varies depending on manufacturer, but typically it's 10 pounds is one load of laundry.
Okay.
And most of your customers and most customers out there don't know that. They don't know that.
So I had a question.
What are these 60s?
These are 60s. I have 4 of those.
So with this in your hand, what could you do with those machines? You yourself, not the customer, and then get to the customer.
With a phone, what can I do?
Yes, what could you do as the owner, and then talk about what the customer can do as a customer with the phone.
Okay. All of these machines, they come with there's an infrared receiver. That's one thing. And there's a piece of software that comes with the equipment.
Okay.
All right. This right here, it's on DVD. This right here allows you to, that's how you program. My stuff fell over there. That's how you program the equipment. You got to understand that equipment is very complex, believe it or not, and it's highly programmable. You can program the amounts of water, the cycles, how long it spins, you name it, you can do it. Okay. From an operator standpoint, they're highly configurable. Okay. And there's 2 ways to do it. You can have a laptop with an infrared reader dongle that goes to it, and then you beam every machine to change the program. However, the machines that I ordered were the Speed Queen Quantum Gold. Okay. Quantum Gold comes with basically a router that you put in your ceiling, and each machine has a Wi-Fi card in it, and they talk to that router, or what they call a controller, which is really an access point to us. It's an access point.
Okay.
And then that access point plugs into your router that you have in the store somewhere in the back.
So your store is fully automated.
It's fully automated. That's what I was trying to get to. Thanks.
It opens and closes on its own.
That's what I was trying to get back to. In order to make it so that I'd be able to run that place without having to be there every day, I would have to basically build a robot.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I would have to do. So the front door is set up on a timer. So it locks and unlocks by itself. Okay. So no more going on and got to go up there and unlock. Don't have to do that. Second thing, the equipment is all intelligent. I'll just call it that. Controllable across the internet. Okay. You can do a whole lot of different things.
So if one of your machines stops mid-cycle and the person at the laundromat calls you, you can basically remotely go into it, reset the cycle, and get it started back up.
Yeah. Or what I can
put them in another machine and put a credit on the machine.
Exactly. Okay. The other 2 laundromats, they only dream of such power.
Black money coming with the questions.
Yeah, he got a good one.
What's the annual revenue in the first year?
Okay.
And
in the first year, I'd have to go back and look because it's been 5 years. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I'll put it this way. As far as the money in the first year, you got your annual revenue. See, with a laundromat, it takes a while for it to build momentum.
Right.
Okay. You have to understand that too.
The mama's got to start coming in there on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, he's right. No, it's funny, but he's right. What happens is people see humans. You have to understand humans are creatures of habit. Okay. Now that goes into my marketing plan, having to do with if you build a place. Now during the construction, when I was, and most of the work, and you got to understand too, damn near 80% of the work, I did it myself, my own 2 hands. So that's why it took me 2 years to put that place together. And I'm talking going up there almost every day with a full-time job, staying there. Gardner, he'll tell you.
I remember. I
It's that
remember.
Snoop wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, that's when you was coming in to work dragging.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But anyway, back to the marketing thing. So the idea was to basically make a nice place, technologically advanced, everything like that. Make it nicer than the rest. Get the people start coming. Now, what it is the goal was basically if you get them to come the first time and have a great experience, they'll come back again. Usually, once they've come twice to your store, or maybe even 3 times, then
You got them.
you got them because they're gonna keep coming back. So all you got to do is get 3 visits out of one person, new person, at the most, and they'll just keep coming back. So you make sure you provide a really good experience for them and this and that. Now, of course, there's always the outliers. There's people who don't understand how this works because they're used to going to a 1970s laundromat. You'd be surprised if you look at our reviews and stuff like that, there'll be people on there who'll talk about, it's a nice laundromat, but what if you have a problem? Then what? Well, I have a sticker on every damn machine with our phone number, which actually rings to me, and you tell me what your problem is, and then I handle it. Simple as that. I've had people say, it's a nice place and this and that, but how come it's not quarters? And then I usually respond, I'll tell you what, I'll be happy to explain it to you if you call me on your rotary phone. Okay. I've said that to people.
Even though you have it where they can use credit cards and all that, you still have a card-based system where they can buy your card and put money on your card.
Yeah, that's part of the credit card system, actually. Now, the payment system is what you're talking about. Now, my particular payment system is made by a company called CCI, Credit Card Concepts Incorporated. They're one of the many. There are many payment systems, but I went with Card Concepts. I went with them. Oh, damn. We skipped over.
Black Money said, what if someone's in there closing? They locked in all night, Black Money. They in there till 6 a.m.
I left out, I forgot about, because we were talking about the money, the financing part. Once your distributor does all that work for you, what they're going to do is recommend to the manufacturer, go or no go. The manufacturer is going to look at everything, and then what they're going to do is they're going to finance, they're going to give you in-house financing. In my case, Alliance basically financed my equipment. Mind you, I had to put down a certain percentage because you got to have some skin in the game. Okay, I had to put down a certain percentage. I financed $230,000 worth of equipment. Okay, and I had to put up. How much did I put up? I had to put up $25,000. That's what I mean about you can't just not have no money.
Right.
Now, because I did that, I didn't have a lot of money, but I did have some. Okay, so I threw it in. Okay, and once I did that, failure is not an option. Okay, if you're gonna fail, at least get to the point where you open, you run, and then if you fail after that, it won't be for lack of trying. That was my attitude. You have to have that attitude, and that's why, now, of course, I don't have a lot of money, so I can't afford to pay people to come and do everything. Okay.
Right.
I was throwing up drywall. There were some things, installation of the equipment and all of that. I hired that out to professionals. You want to do that. Don't try to do that yourself. However, some modifications to the installation I did do. Okay. Like I had to build a gas manifold for the machines in the back because there's stacks and all this other shit and tubes. I was doing all kind of mechanical shit up in there, and drywall, and framing, and electrical. Okay. And I was working by myself, me and my wife. We stripped the floor. There's a YouTube video of me stripping the floor. Me and her stripping the tile floor, the linoleum vinyl tile floor.
Did she have to show you how to use the machine?
Yeah, that's a funny story about that.
Hey, Black Money, I was just joking, man. But I do know that like if they're in there at closing, when their loads finish and they leave out, they're good.
Yeah, you can leave. The doors automatically lock. As far as the closing goes, we close at 10. So the doors automatically lock at 10. However, we have a policy that we don't do no last wash. We don't do, a lot of laundromats, they'll do this thing where last wash time is at certain times. So if you don't get a load started by that time, then you can't. The other laundromats in town were doing that. We don't do that. That's one of the things that makes us different. The reason
So I had a question. What's the latest someone's ever been in your laundromat if you close at 10?
Midnight?
12:30.
12:30.
Yeah, but our lights automatically cut off at 12.
Okay.
So they
there's nothing they can do for the lights to be on, to stay on after 12.
No.
Yeah, they hurry up and got up through.
Yeah, but we have it on the front. I have a sign, digital thing that goes across about our amenities and stuff, and and it's on our Facebook thing, and I think it might even be on the Google Business, where it says no last wash time. See, that's something different.
People love that. People love that.
Yeah. See, because I don't really care. The thing is, I've had people, when we first opened, people will call and say, hey, is it okay for us to still be in here? They'd call me and it'd be like, 9:55, right? And the dryer is going, right? And they call up. And I can see them because I got cameras everywhere. I can see them and they'd be like, hey, is it okay?
So,
First open, hey, is it okay? Do y'all be in here? After y'all about to close, okay, to be in here? I'd be like, yeah, you can stay there. Just remember 2 things. Number 1, the lights go out at midnight. Number 2,
prop the door open when you take your stuff out. It should be
hell no. No, don't know. There's a whole nother thing with that.
Okay, so if it's after 10,
propping open the door. I tell them number one, the lights go out at midnight and the machines go to sleep at midnight, unless they're already running. Number 2, don't go outside because the door will lock behind you and you can't get back in. And I ain't about to come out there.
Take all your stuff out at once.
Just don't lock yourself out the building. I don't care what you do. Just don't lock yourself out the building. And there's a whole issue with that. What happened is after a while, anyway, I ain't gonna talk about it, but I solved it. Okay. Cause that's the thing with laundromat is you're going to have to be creative and you're going to have to figure out ways to solve problems. Most of your problems that you're really going to have is going to be with people management more than damn thing else.
So tell me something. Have you ever had to get on the mic and be like, hey, it's time to go?
No. I had a intercom system like that for a minute, a PA system. I got to put it back in though. But I had to find a whole lot of creative ways to do stuff in order to get that place set up in such a way that I'd be able to run it remotely without having to constantly run up there all the time. Now, in the beginning, I did have to run up there a lot because I didn't have everything in place. This was during the development.
Right.
Okay. But I had the plan, figured out what to do. By automated machines, most of your machines now come like that anyway. If you want to pay for that option. Okay. So it's an option. Now, I did make, now as far as mistakes go, I think I paid a little too much for the equipment, meaning the options. I bought top of the line, fully optioned, when I probably really didn't. Later on, I found out that I really probably didn't need to do that.
So tell me this.
Okay.
You say you financed $230,000. How many?
216.
216.
Yeah.
How many machines is that?
Well, it's not really how many. It's the type.
So did you get? I mean, what I'm saying is, do you have 16 washers and 16 dryers, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got 16 washers and 17. I forget. Goddamn. 39 total.
So you got 30. You was able to get 39 machines for 230. Okay.
Yeah, and these are and I got the card system, the payment system. That was $10,000 alone.
Wow.
Now that big machine that you guys were looking at in that picture, just to give some perspective, that machine, that 80-pound machine, is the largest washing machine in town.
Okay.
as well as the dryer.
So you got people that come there just to use that machine.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Where is it at?
You just passed it.
Yeah.
Passed it. There we go.
Yeah, that's it right there. So that was one of the selling points in my marketing when we were getting ready to open, because you got to promote your place. I did that on purpose. I almost didn't buy that thing, but I did that on purpose because that would be one more thing that we have that the other guy don't.
Was that your most costly machine?
Of course it was. That machine was $17,000 by itself.
Ooh, wee. And how much was the dryer, the 80-pound dryer?
The dryer was almost the same. Okay. So it ain't something, those little laundry carts right there that you see. Okay.
$100?
They cost $150 a piece. Okay. Now those ones that I got, in order to save space in the store, those are from RBI, R&B. I'm sorry, R&B. They made those up special for me. Okay. Point being is there are a lot of people out there that will help you if you try to do this. Just don't be an asshole. Okay. But they'll help you. For me, R&B wire is the leading. Everybody will tell you R&B wire, that's where all the carts come from. There are other manufacturers, but R&B wire is the best.
Okay.
They offered a smaller, because my space is not all that big. You don't want to have great big, huge laundry carts taking up a whole bunch of space. They offered a smaller cart. And by the time I got ready, and I was going to get those, and by the time I got ready to order them, they didn't have them in blue anymore. They had discontinued it. You could only get chrome. Don't get chrome because those turn rusty.
Right.
You want the ones with the coating on them. But I wanted the blue coating. So I talked to R&B Wire. I said, yo, I want to get these, but you guys stop offering the ones with the blue coating, the small size like that with the blue coating. And they said, yeah, we stop offering that. We only offer it in chrome. But if you're not in a hurry and you're willing to wait, the larger one, we still offer that in blue. So when we make another run of the larger one, we'll throw the small ones in there too. Just for you.
Dang.
Nothing extra. And they did. And I said, I got plenty of time because my store ain't nowhere near ready. Okay. So, and about a month and a half later, they showed up. I bought 6 of them.
Okay. So tell me something, because I see.
And they gave me a cool ass little mini shopping cart it's about that big to set up my desk and put business cards in. And they gave me a free laundry cart, a chrome one.
Wow.
Yeah. But them laundry carts cost $150 a piece. That's why operators, they get pissed off when they grow legs and walk away.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I don't see. Usually you go to the laundromat, they got the little bar where you can't take the laundromat, you can't take the basket out the store.
Yeah.
I don't see that on yours. What type of security measures do you have on your carts?
Nothing.
You just going off the honor system.
Yeah, I see. You got to understand too that my store is not in a strip mall. It's a standalone building. You got to drive to go there.
Get to your okay.
Right.
Except for the people that live in the apartment complex behind it.
Yeah, they can walk over there to us.
Okay.
But some of them got washing machines and dryers in their unit.
Okay.
But they still kind of come to the laundromat sometimes, and when they gotta, and there's houses, there's residential, there's houses and stuff. People drive there and they wash bedding and stuff like that. People who live in the homes, comforters, or they got a big family, a whole lot of people, and they come down there. The women, they come down there, do the laundry for the whole damn family across several machines and get it all done so they can go play.
Now, two questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask my question first. The first one is, when you have someone washing their clothes and they leave,
mm-hmm.
do you have something that tells them when the clothes are done?
Yeah, if you okay, we were talking about the payment system. The payment system does that. You can pay with a credit card. There's a mobile app that we have. You can pay. All right. If you go to the kiosk there that you see in the picture, You can get what do you call it? Loyalty card, fast card. Loyalty, it's called fast card. You get that. When you buy a fast card, it gives you the opportunity to register that fast card. Each of them has a unique account number on it.
So do you give them an incentive to use your fast cards?
Yeah, they can see the way we do it is the fast cards and see that kind of shit, with a laundromat, you're gonna run into there's a lot of expense involved with that too. Running one. But the cards, the fast card, I don't really care if they use it or not because they're gonna have to pay with a credit card or something like
coming
that.
in at the end.
Who the fuck's gonna spend that much money on a laundromat?
Hey, put yourself on mute.
Yep.
So they, it's kind of like they're gonna have to, I don't need to give them an incentive because that's the only way. That's not the only way outside of a credit card that you can start the machines anyway. So if you want to do your laundry, you're gonna get a fast card, and I charge for the fast cards because that keeps people from wasting them. Not only that, you have to understand because we're not coins, we're not based on 25-cent increments. My prices can be anything. So I purposely set the pricing so that it's odd numbers. That makes it difficult to make a fast card that has credit on it go to zero. Because if it goes to zero, a lot of times what people will do is reusable. It's reusable all day long. It's just like a credit card. It's got a magnetic strip on the back, everything. Except it doesn't have a chip. That's different systems have a chip. But that keeps people from throwing them away and wasting them. They're not made out of paper. Okay. And them damn things cost $800 a sleeve. And you get 500 in a sleeve. So what I do is I charge for the card the cost of the card. I don't make a profit. A cost of the card. So I have the system set up that if you put, I charge $1.80. I charge $1.80 for the card. Now, some people will say that's not good because you're charging people to use your laundromat. No, what I do is I charge $1.80 for the card, but if you put $20 on a card, you get $1 credit extra, so you get $21 in credit for $20.
That's what I was gonna say. That's like is that like a wash?
You got to put a $20 bill. You got to put a $20 bill on, and then you'll get 21 in credit. If you put less than that, and you're getting a new card, the new card costs you $1.80, which is what it costs me, basically. Okay.
So you give them one free card.
Eventually, you end up getting a free card. Let's say you buy a card and you only put $10 on it, so you don't get no. We call it big bill bonus. You don't get no bonus, but you paid $1.80 for the card.
Okay. You put a 20 in, then you're gonna get that. You're gonna get the.
If you put 10, you don't get that, but you're gonna get a credit on the card minus $1.80. So it's gonna be $9.
But most people, if they come to the laundromat, they're gonna spend 20.
Yeah, typically, right? I know. That's why I got it set up like that.
Yeah.
Then what happens is, they go, they wash their clothes, do whatever. They got $10 on the card or whatever like that. Okay, now they got our card. They've been to the store. They had a great time. They liked it. They enjoyed the free Wi-Fi. Okay.
Free Wi-Fi, 50-inch TV.
We got a 50-inch TV.
Video game?
No
video game.
No.
Plug-ins for phones.
I got chargers for the phones. I got comfy chairs. There might be a picture of the blue chairs that I got. All of that. Very zen, relaxing, nice place. They had a good experience, right? Okay. Next week when it's time to do laundry, they're going to come back. When they come back,
they had a good experience.
They're going to bring the same card usually. Now a lot of times people lose them and they get a new card all the damn time and they just spend $1.80. Let them, whatever. I don't care. But they're going to bring the same card, and then they're going to throw $20 on it. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to come back eventually. There's some chairs I got. All right. So, those are padded chairs. They're not the hard plastic metal ones and everything.
Yeah, the ones that have your booty itching after about an hour and a half sitting in them.
Yeah, they sit. that's part of the marketing thing. Is again, it goes back to make your place nicer than what people would otherwise normally expect out of a laundromat. Okay, that's
Okay.
what you do. That's the idea. So you put those are office chairs. Those are reception area.
Yeah, I'm looking at those. Are no that's not the regular chairs that you see in a laundromat.
Right. Now here's some game for you. When I told you I had to put that money down in order to secure the equipment, right? That left me with not a lot of money because really we're supposed to be talking about people who want to get into this, what it's going to take.
Right.
So I'm gonna try to go back up a level, not be so granular. But you don't have much money, so you're gonna have to look for innovative ways, and you're gonna have to be creative but you're gonna have to create value. That's the key to the whole thing. Perceived value. So a lot of people get in a laundromat and they think you're supposed to have gumball machines, video games, all the. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
People be on their phones more than doing any of that stuff.
Exactly. My 50-inch TV, don't nobody watch it. Actually, what I do is I have that hooked up to Atmosphere TV, which is an Apple TV thing that you get for free, and it shows just interesting stuff on it, background stuff for people to watch. Because most people are not paying attention to it. So you'll find out how people behave once you get going, and then you can tune your store to match that. But in my case, what I did was, again, the business model, that's the word, that's the phrase I was looking for, the term. Your business model, our business model, was to be nicer than everybody else. And because you're like that, you also want to be the market leader in price. And what that means is you want to be higher than everybody else. Now, I know that sounds crazy.
No, not when it comes to laundromats.
You force the other people to follow your lead,
to chase you. You force them to chase you. See, what you're doing is you're bringing, like Black Money said,
you bringing new machines.
You're bringing amenities. Your store is new. Yeah. Your machines are new. You have amenities that the rest of them do not have. Okay, nicer experience. You offer better customer service. Okay, because you can control those machines remotely. Doesn't matter that you're not attended. All of that kind of shit. People,
it cuts off. It's overhead that's cut.
Well, yeah, exactly. But not only that, the experience, you're going to provide the best experience that you possibly can. That people are going to love it, and people like nice. It goes back to what I said in the beginning. Everybody likes nice, whether they can afford it or not. They still like nice. Okay. So you give them nice, they perceive all of those things. Those things that I just listed off don't cost me jack. Free internet don't cost me nothing. I got to have internet anyway because the machines need it. Yeah. So I may as well set up my router to share it. All I got to do is quarantine it.
All you got to do is have a guest account.
Exactly. I tell people the password, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, the point is you want to create an environment that offers perceived value. And for that, people will pay extra money.
So do you find that your customers try to keep your store clean?
No. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. When we first, you set a precedent. When we first got open and everything, people came in, they loved it. It's so nice. We got so many great reviews and this and that. I had a guy call me because I used to play music in there that was, it was like
music.
It was not really. It was more like meditation music. Okay. Calm meditation. I tried several different things with the TV. All right. And then I realized, ain't nobody watching this. Nobody cares. So I just let it play music and have some nice graphics. One guy called me. He woke up. He called me. He said, man, I fell asleep in here. Just to tell me he fell asleep in here. He said, this is so comfortable in here. As a customer. There's a customer. He has clothes in the dryer. And he called me up. He said, man, I got to tell you. He said, I fell asleep in here at least an hour. I said, I thought I saw you sitting in the chair. And I was hoping you was okay, that you wasn't dead or something.
So talk about that was behind you then.
Huh?
Talk about.
Well, yeah.
Is that your camera?
You mean I think Gardner's talking about this laptop, right?
Yeah. I'm talking about is that the hub for?
No, I'm talking about the phone. I'm talking about the phone.
The phone?
Yeah. The phone that's the thing that's lit up, the screen.
This right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the laptop that's monitoring the store.
Okay, I thought you had a phone that monitored it.
I can do it on the phone too.
Yeah, but your laptop monitors, because that's a question that Black Money asks.
Oh,
Security.
Oh,
Yeah, he asked. Hold on. What security precautions do you take?
okay. Now you know your security based on where you're located. Okay, how hardened your security need to be depends on your market, where you are. I'm kind of lucky where it's not really. I'm not in a foot traffic area, so I don't have homeless people coming in there trying to. Okay,
Trying to sleep in there overnight.
right. Where there's a lot of, now, if you ever get into this, there's a lot of Facebook groups and stuff for laundromat operators across the nation, and we all talk to each other and we help each other with problems. And you'll find out real quickly that every market is different. Okay.
Yeah, most definitely. Depends on demographics.
Exactly. And there's solutions, and we help each other with different solutions for things and stuff like that. So if you ever get into the business, there's help out there for you. It's just that you got to get started. Now, with the store itself, you got to save money at every turn. So when I was building my store, I did a lot of unconventional things like those. And I was talking about those chairs. Those are conference room chairs or receptionist chairs from an
You went
office.
to an auction?
Oh, well, yeah, I bought them off of an auction. Now those chairs, I priced those chairs. Those chairs brand new are $300 a piece. I got them for $35 with nothing wrong with them. No scratches, no nothing, no tears, nothing. And they've lasted for about 5 years because they're reception area chairs. Okay. People love them damn things.
They meant for rough bottoms.
Yeah. They're padded, they're leather, not whatever, fake leather, whatever, so you can just wipe them down. But people love them damn things. And that's why I was telling you about that guy. I had the guy, he was sitting in a real comfy chair and he's listening to the Zen music going on and everything that I keep playing in there and all that kind of stuff. I do that to calm people down. Okay. And he said he fell asleep. We have now, when I took over that building, about the building, it didn't have air conditioning. Okay. Now, I had to put air conditioning.
Did you put central or a window unit?
I put a split system.
Central.
I found a split system. I found a jumbo split system.
What's a split system?
Split system is where you have the coil and the fan in one unit inside, and then the compressor is outside. There's no ductless.
Okay.
But I found a jumbo ductless system.
Found.
That was big enough. It would have been big enough, square, big.
What, 20,000 BTUs?
Right, that would cool the inside. Plus, the building already had 5 ceiling fans already. Okay. Now, how do I run this place 80 miles away? Automated equipment and automated building. Simple as that. And being in the field that I'm in, easy for me to do. I'm fully familiar. I got my fans automated. I built network for the machines to talk. The front door is automated. Okay. But I'm getting ready to upgrade it and make it so that I can lock it and unlock it via mobile phone.
So I got a question for you.
All right.
There may be somebody on here that is watching us that's thinking about starting a laundromat, and they may not be able to plan it out the way you would. Would you offer your consulting at a price for somebody who wanted to do this? What I'm trying to say is, if someone came to you and said, I saw the video, I got the money, got the investment, what do I have to pay you to consult this and make sure that I do it correctly?
I mean, would I be willing to counsel?
Well, I mean, I know you would. Yeah, it's money. I'm just
yeah, I'd be willing. I mean, I probably wouldn't even charge. Really?
What?
No, I wouldn't. If it's
YouTube, y'all heard that?
I probably wouldn't if it's our people.
Right. So what would you say is the initial investment that a person would have to start a laundromat? The way you did it, by finding a location, securing it, fixing it up, getting the equipment, and opening it.
For me, at the end of it, okay. After it depends on every location is different depending on what it's going to need.
Right.
So you can't really put a number.
Right.
Okay. But what I will tell you is I had some cash that helped me to get the equipment because, like I said about the financing. Okay. The great thing about it is the manufacturers at the recommendation of your distributor, okay, will finance you in house. But you're gonna have to have some skin in the game, so they're gonna want a down payment. They're gonna want you to put up a certain amount.
10%, 10 to 15%, you would say?
I think it was it was actually 30%. Actually,
What?
close to 30%. Yeah. Yeah. So be careful about how much you spend on equipment. All right. Be careful about that.
Yeah, you did say 213 and you say you put 26.
Something like that. Yeah. It was something
I
like
mean,
that. But the thing is, now it depends on how much you have. It depends on
you have to have good credit. That's a I mean, in
yeah,
order to be able to get that stuff financed.
it helps if you have good credit. And you also have to have already created an LLC at least.
Right.
Okay. All of that, all the standard stuff,
Right.
created an LLC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to put up something like it was something like 26% or something like that. I took it out of my savings. All right. Because I looked at it as a reinvestment of that.
You bet on yourself.
Yeah, of that money. And then everything else, being creative, like the chairs, expensive stuff like that, auction. You'd be surprised. My folding tables, I built them myself. And what I did was I got the bases from IKEA and the countertop from IKEA and cut them and built them tables. Looking at commercial ones, just copied them. Okay. I had to build and do a lot of things that probably, I had to do it myself in order to save money. My credit cards, I had credit cards. That's one thing black folks got. May not have they got credit.
No money, but got credit cards.
No money, but got credit. I used several of my credit cards and took them to the max. Okay. My floor.
That was going to be my next question is,
mm-hmm.
Was this mentally and physically taxing on you?
Like I said,
the 2 years it took you to bring everything to fruition?
The physical part of it, the mental part of it, I'm not all that much of an emotional person, okay? But the mental part, the physical part, and the financial part kicked my ass, okay? Most of that was because I was doing a lot of the work myself. Certain things I did hire out simply because I just knew better. I was like, I'm not even going to try. Okay. Like putting in that tile floor that you see.
I wouldn't have done that.
You put that floor in?
I didn't put it in. No, I hired that out.
Oh, I was about to say.
No, hell no.
That's a lot of work.
But what we did is what was a whole lot of work was stripping that damn floor to get it ready to put that tile down. Okay. Because the original floor was vinyl. And they put a hell of a lot of glue on that floor, whoever installed that floor.
You had to pull it up.
I had a pneumatic floor scraper that I owned, air power floor scraper. And me and my wife were in there running that thing. There's a YouTube video of us doing it. Okay.
Oh man, you're gonna have to before we end this, you're gonna have to tell us, you're gonna have to direct people to those links so they can see the process of what you did.
It's I'd have to find it. But we had to strip that floor, had to go rent the machine, the diamond blade machine that's got a blade on the bottom of it. They rent that. I'll put it this way, man. Home Depot was my best friend. I'm here to tell you. Home Depot, everything. We rented the machine, ran the machine, and then what Gardner's talking about is a funny story about that. And here we are, me and my wife, at the store. We rented the machine, running it over to get the glue. You got to get the glue up off the floor, get the tile leave behind. I'm sitting there running the machine, and I'm telling her, okay, sweetie, I'm going to run the machine and this and that. This is how you run the machine. This is how you do it, and this and that and the other. And she's just not saying anything. She's just looking at me, right? She's looking at me. listening to me, nodding, like, and I'm running the machine. I say, okay, so I'm gonna run it for a while, and then you do it. And she, and then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, here, you take over.
Oh, she had that there.
Mass, she grabbed that damn machine, and it was like ballet. It was like ballet with the damn machine. She's going with the thing and this and that, one hand, and look, mom, no hands. I mean, I'm serious, man. She running, and I'm looking at her, and my mouth hit the fucking floor, and I'm like, you already knew how to run it. She said, yeah, I used to do this when I lived in China for a long time.
She's being a good wife.
Yeah, she just let me, I'm like, man, I just shut up after that. Full of surprises. She a little surprise box. She still is. After 2 years of marriage, she still surprises me. But yeah, she already knew how to run the machine. She running the hell out of that machine. But
That's
yeah, we had to get up all that glue, stuff like that. But when it came to install the floor, I hired it out.
This already paid off. She done made that.
So there's a lot to it. There's a whole lot to it. But
yeah, man, it's the story you have told is it's a lot to it.
What did Black Money say? What's the craziest thing you have seen on your cam going on in the laundromat? Kids on roller skates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really. Kids on roller skates.
If the toy got clogged up, how would he get it fixed?
He had another thing. Yeah, free internet. We have that. We have a 50-inch TV.
Every day.
Vending machines. I bought used vending machines. Okay. But they broke now, so I'm going to have to replace them. So you got to understand, when you first starting out, you can't afford everything. So I had to cut a lot of corners, but make it look like I didn't. A lot of that. Now we're up. Now getting it place stood up. It took 2 years to build it. That's a mistake that I made. Let's just talk about mistakes. Mistake number one, I bought a little bit too advanced, too expensive equipment. I bought gold series when I really could have gotten away with bronze. Okay, seriously, because they come in 3 different types. I bought the top of the line because of what their capabilities was, and I thought because of my distance, I'm going to need to be able to do that. Didn't know that the payment system, which is separate, that you add on to the machines, kind of allows you to do the same damn thing. So now I got redundancy, which I didn't need.
Right.
You see what I mean? So,
but I mean, like you said, it's your first time you did it. You're gonna make some mistakes.
I didn't know. But if I did another one, then I would not make that mistake. And I would save quite a bit of money. Quite a bit. That's the first one. That's
the level of machine that you bought, you could have went with a lower level and had the same
right. I wouldn't
the same basically everything.
Sort of like that. It would have been less of a what do you call it when it's I can't think of the word right now, but it would have been there wouldn't have been any overlap.
Oh, okay, because your payment system. Okay, I'm with you.
The payment system
already has a payment system. You ain't need to get the other payment system.
The machines that I had have capabilities that allow you to control the machine. But when you install, what I found out later is when you install the payment system, which is not made by Speed Queen, it's third party. The payment system, from a technical standpoint, kind of takes over the machine, and you understand, and it renders depending on how it's configured. And what it ended up doing is a lot of the features and stuff that the machine itself was capable of doing, the payment system ended up getting in the way of that.
Okay.
You understand?
Understood.
So certain things. So, and then the things that it didn't get in the way of, I didn't need those things to even be remotely accessible to me anyway. There weren't things that you mess with all the time anyway.
So you program. So okay. So when you first started, with your pricing system? Did you start out kind of high? I mean, what I'm saying is, in your first, when you opened, Did your prices fluctuate, or did you stay consistent with your prices?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. You figure out what you need to charge, taking everything into account. You set
Okay.
your prices.
Yeah.
You set your prices. Now, one of the things you want to do is you also want to set. The hardest thing to figure out with it is how much to charge.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
That's hard.
You
It's hard to
found
figure
out
that
a
out.
price and you stuck with that price.
Yeah, and usually what I did is I kind of cheated. What I did is I went around and looked at what everybody else was charging. Okay, and then charge more.
Okay.
A bit more.
I know we're getting close to the end because we've been on here 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Have we?
But before,
Damn.
No, you close to the end.
I didn't realize that.
But you've already told us that before you opened, you went to the competitors and talked to them and things like that. You got to tell us the story about what they did when they saw your picture in the newspaper with the ribbon cutting.
Well, what happened was, this is what happened. The townspeople, the people in the town were funny as hell. I mean, they really were. They were, first of all, okay, like I said, it took me 2 years to open that place, to get it together. I was talking about mistakes. This is important.
My bad.
Right? I want to make sure that people understand. You're going to make mistakes, okay? But the mistakes that I made was a little bit too upscale equipment. Okay. What I should have done is just bought the base equipment, because the base equipment is pretty damn good, meaning in terms of the features.
So how much of a mistake was that?
Not a big one. It just kind of pissed me off, because nothing worse than paying for some extra for some shit that you end up not using.
I mean, would it have put you under 200,000, or would it have put you close to?
It would have saved me a few $1,000s, yeah. You know, and remember, you're working on a shoestring. That's important,
right? You're working on a shoestring.
Yeah, it's important. You know, that's more you owe. I mean, you're financing it, yeah, but then there's just more money you owe when you didn't really need to,
right?
You know, because you find out that didn't really need to. Okay, so here's the thing. So you had that going on, and then you have the next mistake. So I bought a little bit too good of a machine. I'll just put it that way. A little bit too good. Didn't really need to buy.
You didn't need top of the line.
I didn't need to add the options that come with the top of the line. I didn't, because the payment system would have covered that.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. Which the payment system comes default like that anyway. So it was kind of like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. You know, I didn't really need to do that. So, but I didn't know. And of course, the distributor didn't tell me.
Of course not.
Of course not. You know, you got to be careful with your distributor.
Oh, you need the top of the line. I mean, it's going to be 25 years, and you need the top.
Well, you're going to be able to do this and that. You know, they told me, okay, so they kind of got me a little bit. Not too bad, but they got me. The only thing I really should have made sure of was the stainless steel, because it was an option. You get stainless steel or not. Okay. You always want to buy stainless steel.
Okay.
You don't want to buy the painted ones, because people with Sharpies running around.
Chip, yeah.
Okay? And they'll fucking mark up your machines and all kinds of shit. So you get stainless steel. Okay. Because it's easier to keep them clean, and they look good for longer, forever. All right. Another mistake I made, trying to do everything myself.
Yep. I got on you about that one.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Gardner got on my ass about that. He got on my ass about that. Trying to do everything myself. And when I say everything myself,
that's when you lost weight.
Yeah. That's when I lost all that damn weight. I was working it off. Trying to do everything myself.
That weight was falling off of you.
Yeah. That's what it was. I was sweating in there, sweating like a motherfucker. And in the drive, you know, I got to drive up there and then drive back.
Yeah, that's 160. That's 160 miles.
Yeah, round trip like that. I'm coming home 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and shit, full of covered in yuck. Okay, from whatever it was I was doing up there. Trying to do too much by myself in the way of renovations. Okay, but I can guarantee you, if I ever did another store, it ain't gonna go like that. For 2 reasons. One, because I know better, and 2, I'll have the money to pay somebody for certain shit. I'll do some shit, a little bit, but I ain't gonna never do that again. But at least with this one, laying the floor, I hired that out. Installing the equipment itself, yeah, you hired that out. My distributor pointed me to the installer, because that's a whole nother industry, people that do installations. Some distributors do installations also. Some distributors will refer you to a professional installer.
So,
But
so
you
in a,
built the frames though, right?
Hmm?
You built the frames for them.
No.
Oh, I thought you built the frames.
No, they
The
were
wall.
prefabricated frames for the prefabricated frames for the equipment to sit up on, the bases, they call them, and the bulkheads in the back, which is where all the hookups and everything. All of that's prefab, but you have to have somebody to. They ship it all out there in modules, and somebody has to install it.
Okay.
Both of what happens is the base bolts to the concrete, and then the machine bolts to the base.
so the distributor, when they did their SWOT analysis of the surrounding area,
Mm-hmm.
did they tell you that the other places didn't have good customer service, or did you just learn that on your own by going, or was their analysis that detailed?
No, it wasn't that
Good
detailed.
question.
It wasn't that detailed. What they do is they look at the equipment mix. That's an important thing. They look at the equipment mix of your competition, and they suggest to you what your equipment mix should be based on what your business model is going to be. Um, they looked at the competition. They don't really get into, what the customers think about the place, because they can go look at the place and say, yeah, these are old ass equipment. This is an old ass place. They've been here a long ass time. Chances are, if you put a new laundromat close to them, you're going to hurt them. You're going to be competitive with them. I'll put it that way. So they don't get into that part. What they do is they'll give you the demographics. They'll give you the demographics, the incomes, the racial mix in it.
What's the racial?
All kinds.
What's your population?
In where my store is located, it's something like 70% European American.
Okay.
All right. And then the rest of it's other. So, you got that. Now, somebody asked me a question about, do people help you keep it clean? Some have. When we opened, people loved it. People came in there, and a lot of the people in the neighborhood who come there all the time, they look out for us. I've had people look out for us. You wouldn't believe. Customers actually look out.
Black money.
Didn't
you have a customer call you and say, where the broom at?
Yeah, I've had, yeah, they had, at one time, because I had like some trash on the floor that other customers had left. It was dryer sheets mostly, right?
That's usually what's going to be on the floor, dryer sheets.
Yeah, it's a laundromat. But I had a customer come in there one day, and she was just sitting around, waiting for her stuff to dry. And she called and said, hey, there's a few dryer sheets on the floor. Do you mind if I take the broom and dustpan and get that up? ADD. I know that's what it was. But I was like, she said, where's the broom and dustpan? I said, well, if you feel like it, yeah, you can. There's a broom and dustpan over in the corner behind that door right there. In that door, the emergency exit door is right there.
Hey, man. Ain't nothing wrong with having good customers.
Yeah, it's good customers. Some of them are assholes, but, some of them are really shit, But for the most part, I haven't had any problems. I've had good customers out there.
You ain't had no people dye no clothes in your washing machines.
As a matter of fact, I do. I have a lady.
She big money.
Flag on the play.
No,
big money.
It's not what you think. It's not what you think. When we first opened up, let me tell you about the clean. I had a guy just about a couple of months ago, cowboy, I call him. I don't know who he was, but we had the cleaning crew. Oh, how do I keep it clean? I forgot about distance. I keep forgetting about that. I hire a local cleaning service. Now, for the longest kind of time, I would drive up there twice a week, clean, come back. Okay? Waiting. waiting. I've had people come in and offer to clean, but
you got the don't you got the service?
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Before the service,
Oh, okay.
I did it myself
Oh, yeah, okay.
twice a week. Okay, calculate the cost. It was costing me.
That's 320 miles a week.
Yeah, exactly. In a pickup truck that gets about 17 miles to the gallon,
Plus tolls.
plus tolls. I gotta
This tolls all the way up to the last exit.
So I calculated it. I calculated it, and it comes out to about $40 to $45 each trip, round trip.
On top of gas money.
No, that's gas, including gas.
Oh man.
All right, cost me about $45 when I calculated it out, round trip,
Food,
with
drinks.
tolls and all that. So, but I kept doing it, and we built the reputation in the town anyway of being the cleanest laundromat, best run laundromat, new equipment, coolest. We do all kind of crazy shit up in there. All right. Eventually, the town, after a while, people kept coming, and then the old heads with the quarters start realizing that you're really paying more money with quarters. Okay, but people basically adopted our business model, and they liked it once they saw the benefits.
Yeah, you
Okay.
get a free wash.
Huh?
You get a free. I mean, you get some free drying time. It might not be a whole wash, but if you put 20 in, you get $21 worth of.
Yeah, you get $1 bonus, stuff like that. Okay.
How much does an 80-pounder cost?
80-pounder, depending on in our cycles. Oh, by the way, the cycles are multi-cycle, meaning that those equipment that I have are capable of charging a different price based on the cycle that you pick.
So if you got a hot water cycle in it, it's gonna cost more than a cold water cycle.
Exactly. A lot of people had trouble with that because they're used to going to the other place where everything is manual and the price is in quarters and it doesn't change no matter what you pick. You can't make money that way because as an operator, your gas and electric and whatnot fluctuates. You need to be able to adjust your prices.
That's why you go to places and there's not hot water all the
What's the
time.
difference between a hot and cold price?
What do you say?
Gas. He said, "What's the difference between a hot and a cold price? The usage of gas."
No, I'm asking the dollar amount.
Oh, the dollar amount.
Well, I'd have to look at my chart again. I got it
I'm
over
just
here.
saying the same cycle, 80 pounds. How much is the difference between hot and cold?
I have to look it up. You really want to know? I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, just off the top of your head, if it's like 10 cents, it don't matter.
It's Q here for you. This is
Oh,
Q.
no, it's more than 10 cents.
Right. If
it-
it's a dollar or two, then that's one thing. If it's 50 cents, it's inconsequential.
Yeah, exactly. But
$3, that's a big difference.
no, it ain't that much. Ain't no $3. But the difference is also you got to understand the difference of size of the machine too.
Right. That's why I said the 80 pounder.
Yeah, the 80-pounder. You just want to know about that.
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you.
That is the highest capacity washer, right?
Yeah, it's 80 pounds.
How many 80 pounders you have in there?
It uses
In the laundromat?
it uses the most water.
Yeah.
How many 80 pounders are in the laundromat?
What do you say? I can't hear you. What?
How many 80 pounders are in the laundromat?
I just got one. Just got one. Yeah. Now, can't see nothing. Sorry.
I know it's a laundromat here.
The reason I'm saying this is because I was in a laundromat earlier today.
Uh-oh.
I know AC and Murphy's, $100,000 niggas that don't actually go to laundromats. I'm a nigga that was in a laundromat today, and I'm listening to the whole story, and I'm trying to see, how much is the difference, because
yeah, you want to know.
I see how many quarters the motherfucker picks up, because the motherfucker that owns the laundromat is also a dentist, and he has his dental practice next to his laundromat. And I'm pretty sure that the laundromat makes more than he makes in the dentist's office. And he got about 6 or 7 80-pounders in there.
Woo.
Okay, here's your answer.
And I know what he's doing because I watched him take them quarters out of there one day, and I was like, golly.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how much
he don't use quarters.
I understand that, but I know what them quarter machines do. I don't know what them machines do that go hot to cold, adjust. You feel me? What do those machines do on a monthly or a weekly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it depends on the market, how much traffic runs through your store. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't know how much traffic he get, but I know how much that motherfucking machine do.
Yeah.
So with that being said, trying to see if you said a $230,000 investment and you made your money back in 5 years.
You gotta understand.
You got 180 pounder in there. Is this laundromat open 24 hours?
No, I don't do that.
You still made it back in 5
I don't do that. The reason why is because, again, the 24-hour thing, that depends on your location.
Yeah, because I'm in an area where the dentist used to have an attendant in there up until the time he closed, but he don't because he locks the door from his house now.
Right.
So the
That's
attendant,
what I do.
Hey, bro, listen, I don't have to go to the laundromat. I like going to the laundromat.
Right.
It's a money. I watched the man at the dentist office leave the dentist office and come empty the machines out.
Yeah.
And I know that between Murph and AC, I can get 100 a piece, so I can get my laundromat going.
I knew this dude was gonna come here.
I ain't listening to my friend. We listening to y'all friend. And I'm gonna be in that motherfucker every day while they at work.
Black Money said, "Who that?"
Black Money brings up a good point, though. He brings up a real good point. With a laundromat, you got to be careful because if you're not, it depends on what you want for yourself. Me, I already had a full-time job, so I ain't need another one.
The dentist was a full-time dentist.
Exactly.
And I want to open up a laundromat across the street to run him off the block. Okay. But I want to have them cool-ass cards, but I'm going to charge a motherfucker $250. Because I'm whacking them over here. They going to pay it. If I got nicer shit, I'm not going to give them nicer shit and charge the same as what he charges.
No, he charges more than what the other people charge.
We don't know what he charges for them 80 pounders.
But you gotta, well, no, that has to do with the market leader. We are the most expensive one.
You said you went to the mother spots and saw what they was charging.
Oh yeah.
What was they charging for them 80 pounders?
Well, they didn't even have 80 pounders.
Yeah, they don't even have 80 pounds.
They don't even have them.
So you coming in on the end of the conversation.
How did you connect with the distributor? The distributor's Caucasian.
Yeah,
you had to connect with
like everybody else.
You come. What I'm saying, man, is
I can't talk.
No, listen to me.
Listen
to me. We've already been talking for 3 hours.
I know.
He's already went over this. So what I'm saying is, listen to me.
He can't answer.
Listen to me. We're not going to go backwards into the information that we've already covered. We already got an audience of people that we talking to.
Who are you talking
That's
to?
why I said.
I said y'all talking to each other.
Let us do this, man. We got about 8 minutes to finish this. We're gonna let him answer this last question, and then we're gonna finish.
I got one more though that he started.
We're gonna let him answer this question about the 80 pounders. Then your weekend gardener has the question, and we're gonna close the shout out at 3.5 hours.
Well, who's that? Isn't that who is that?
That's you.
Oh, okay. He wanted to know.
That's Q the contrarian.
And if I would have started, it wouldn't have took me 3 hours to ask my question.
That's Q the contrarian.
Because the audience wants to know.
No, you already answered that question. You coming in at the end.
Well, them people is gone.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. Go ahead and ask your question, your weekend gardener, so we can go ahead and close this out.
Does he want to know how much the 12 pound? How much?
Yeah, how much do the 80 pounders cost?
Okay. For normal cycle hot water, it's $12.45.
Okay.
All right. For normal cycle warm water, it's $12.35. For normal cold, $12.25. Permanent press, $12.45. Permanent press warm, $12.35. Permanent press cold, $12.25. Delicate hot, $12.45. Delicate warm, $12.35. Delicate cold, $12.25. Plus, if you add modifier plus medium soil, that's an extra 65 cents. If you add modifier for heavy soil, that's an extra 75 cents.
Yeah, that's the same way to do it here, but it ain't broke down that much. But you got the heavy soil, light soil, this, that, hot, cold. But it go up for it. His 80-pounder start at like 10.50. But they do go up if you put it to comforter setting or this and that. So I see what you're saying. We on the same page.
Yeah, now the default price is normal cold. The machine defaults to normal cold till you start pushing them buttons.
Gotcha.
Okay. And that default price is $12.25.
And when I was going to the laundromat, I was always pushing that hot water. I can't wash no cold water. Man.
And that's another thing.
I need some
everybody in the laundromat, you'll notice, and that goes back to what I was saying about the type of equipment. I'm telling you, man, I can program. Everybody presses heavy foil, hot water, normal cycle. Everybody. It doesn't matter what else.
Like Money said, Q putting pressure on the set.
Most people, that's what they pick, and they do it whether they need it or not. And most people, you'll find out. See, there's a lot of nuances to a laundromat, to running a laundromat. Okay, and the better you understand those nuances, the better you're likely to succeed.
Yeah, I heard you.
So Maas asked a question earlier about the tie-dye lady.
Oh, I was talking about, Lady Tie-Dye. She's one of my best customers. She is, really.
So you can tie-dye in the laundromat?
All right, check this out.
I need to hear about this, man. The lady tie-dye the clothes in your washing machine.
It don't fuck up the washing machine?
It doesn't mess up.
I'll tell you about it. Y'all want me to tell you about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here's the deal. When we first opened up, she's one of my best customers. She still is. When we first opened up 5 years ago, she came in there. She runs a website where she does tie-dye. She sells the stuff like Etsy, like on Etsy kind of thing. Amazon or something.
I know what it is.
She sell tie-dye. She make it and sell tie-dye. And she's pretty good too. She came in there and she asked about the tie-dye. Now I knew that people fucking doing tie-dye would fuck up your machines. They're the machines that got stainless steel drums. Okay. But it can still stain them. But the dye, I allow her to do it because the dye that she uses is soy based. That's why. It doesn't damage the machine. She uses soy based.
Soy based dyes.
Yeah, soy based dye. She showed me the dye. She had it in a bucket. You can wipe your fingers, everything, and she's been coming in there ever since we've opened, and she has never damaged the machine. Okay.
But see, that's different than somebody coming in and putting some of that red in your
red in there, right? But see, those are red in there. Those are trifling ass people. Don't give a fuck about nothing anyway. You know what I'm saying? And people, Americans got this thing with them. I don't know what the fuck it is with us, but they got this thing with them where they just have a general disrespect for other people's fucking property.
Tear your stuff up.
Okay.
They ain't got nothing, so they don't want nobody to have nothing.
Okay. But she came in there. Her name is Jill. I call her Lady Tie-Dye. Okay. When you have customers like that, and you make and I got a couple of other customers like that are kind of like my snitches, if you will.
My eyes and ears when I can't see.
Every store has them.
Yeah, they're my snitches. What they do is they come a lot, and they like a clean, nice place, right? And they know anybody in there fucking up too much, acting stupid, they warn me. They alert me. They'll call me. Okay? If they in there. Yeah. They'll let me know. They'll let me know about things going that ain't right. Not in a complaining way, just a heads up. Like Jill. One time, she called me. I forgot what it was about. Something was wrong with one of the machines. It was leaking or something like that. And of course, I only go up to my store once a month. Physically go up there to repair things and do what I got to do. But the rest of the time, I don't go up there.
That's cool.
I don't need to. My cleaning.
So basically, you go to your store. You go to your store.
We always talk about black business all the time. I used to go up there and clean that place myself. All right. And the reason that I did it is because I was waiting. I had people come and offer to do the cleaning.
You was waiting on the right person.
but I had people come in there that didn't look like us. Okay, so I got to think about that. But eventually, one person did show up who started a cleaning company, and she came in there to hire me one night because she saw me in there mopping. And we talked, and then when we talked, she realized, no, he's the owner. And I said, okay, you're starting a cleaning company. I'm doing this. I've been doing this a couple of years, coming up here cleaning and everything like that. And I showed her everything that needed to be done. She wrote down everything. And then I said, man, come on, give me a price. Think about it overnight, whatever. In a couple of days, I'll look for you. Give me a price of what it's going to cost you. And I explained to her why I wanted her to do it. Number one, because you look like me. Number two, you come from the same place I do. All right. So I'm going to give you a chance. I have to. Okay. I have to. As long as you do everything I need you to do. And her company has been, and she's grown, but we were her first commercial contract.
Wow.
Okay.
That's what's up.
And her company grew, and she still has us. Now, she's fucked up a few times, but yeah. But you gotta understand, at least this is just my opinion. It's our people.
She's trying, yeah.
She's trying. Okay. And she's done some things for me that were outside of scope. Okay. But she's trying. And just like me when I was trying, people helped me out. Okay.
Right.
You have to pay it forward. So she screwed up. So you know, because black folks, we always, she fucked up. You ain't no good for it. No. Just tell her what you need. I'll tell her, look, give them an opportunity to correct it. Okay. Did it, correct it, no problem. Okay. You got to back each other up. And that's something that, in my opinion, and you got to back it up, not with just talk, do something. If you can, do something. So me, that's what I did. She came in there, and I had seen her car. She lived in the apartments when she started. She lived in the apartments right behind us.
No shit.
Yeah, she did. So I had seen her car go through our parking lot because people from the apartments, they cut through our parking lot to get to the road sometimes. And I had seen her car with the little sign thing on the side, you know, and everything. And then one night she pulled in right near closing. She pulled in and we started talking, and everything's been fine. So now what it is,
an employee and became one.
She does the cleaning. She and her crew, she has employees. She sends them in. They clean, they do everything. She charges, you know, everything like that, a set price.
Who is that?
Whatever.
What's his name?
You know, that's how you do.
Marshall.
But I wish more of us would take
Hey, Marshall, me too. Fuck each one, teach one, each one pay one.
Right. Exactly.
Now they're talking about this, that, and the third, and put some money in a black person's hand. Yeah. I'm that nigga. Murph, AC, 100 bands each.
Yeah.
Here,
I agree. I mean, that was my thing. I was waiting now.
Hey, man, chill out, man.
Doors in church
man,
closed,
chill out, man. Chill out, man.
Doors in church closed, man.
Chill out, man.
Preach, Marshall.
Man,
I had to pay a certain amount of money to come up there, and the price when she came back to me and gave me the price, it wasn't that much more than what it would have cost me to come, and then I got to factor in my time too.
It's all love, man.
So I paid her to do it. And they do it. They come 3 times. I got them up to now. They come 3 times a week.
But you do realize that the average man in your position is trying to pay less. You feel me? He's trying to pay less.
As long as they're competitive.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? She came to me and the price that she gave me to do what I needed her to do, because I listed and showed her that night when she came there. Because I was cleaning the store. I was like, look,
she thought you worked there.
I was like, come on. I said, let me show you what I do. What I need for you to do is this. I'm gonna show you everything. And she's standing there with a pencil. Right there. Fine. So I turned it over to her. I said, okay, there you go. Figure out a price. Let me know. 2 days later, she came back, told me how much it was going to be for each visit to do. Right. And I said, okay, good. So I was going to come up there tomorrow. Instead, you go.
Bingo.
Like that. You go and do it. And I'll watch
it. Man.
If she got a question.
We coming to the close of the show.
You know,
I just got one more thing to say to Marshall before you go. Marshall, can you hear me, Marshall?
Yeah, he can hear you.
Hell, my mama can hear you. My mama can hear you. She ain't watching.
Listen to this.
People up the street can hear you.
If every black man that was in a position to do what you did for other black people, it wouldn't matter who's president.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't matter at all. If we all did that collectively, but everybody's telling you to go vote.
Yeah.
You a real one, Marshall. You deserve your success.
Right. I agree. What you said, I agree with that. My thing is, whenever possible, because it's a team sport. Everybody else plays team when it comes down to certain things. When it comes down to business, economy, America is set up like a Coliseum, like an arena. Okay. It's set up that way, and you got to play that way. So that's what I was doing. Now, of course, eventually, I would have hired somebody to come and do it because I was getting tired of coming. I'm telling you.
But you waited. You waited, and it happened.
I was waiting. The barbershop. There's one barbershop in town that's a black-owned barbershop. Black American-owned barbershop. You get an edge up? No, what I do is he came now during the time, and I'll tell you what kind of people we got in the town. During the time, I told you for 2 years, I'm working on that place. I'm in there in the middle of the night hanging drywall. I got plastic up on the windows, so people can't really see. But people knew that the place was being turned into something. Okay. The police in that in that town would come over there and check on me in the middle of the night. But I mean, check on me in a positive way, make sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
They know that I'm doing all the work in here, that this black guy is in here, and all the cops are white. This black guy is in here working on this place, the old laundromat. Everybody knew it used to be a laundromat, and they knew that we're redoing it. They knew that. But they would come in and check on me, and I'd sit there and chit-chat with the cops because you're getting ready to go into business in their town. You want to be friends with the cops.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that they know who you are, because once we were open, there were many a time that I had to call on the police to go up there and do something for me. And they did it. They respect you. You own and control something that they're benefiting from. They respect you. Everybody.
Hey, man.
Okay. I had that happening. I had customers looking out for me and stuff. I had this one guy, he pulled up, the place was dirty. It was a guy, he was sitting around. He pulled up in his truck as a customer, and he was washing his clothes and stuff. That man, he went out to his car, got a broom and a dustpan, came back in there and swept up the store.
Hey, man, ain't nothing like good customers.
Yeah, I've had a lot of customers, do some really cool stuff. I have customers who know me. They've talked to me. They've come in there. I had this one customer, they come in and they're a big family. They come in there with 10 huge bags of laundry, and they'll stay in there. They'll come in 5 minutes to 10, wash their stuff, and they'll stay in there until past midnight. But they know that I know them, and they know it's okay for them to be in there. And when they leave, they let the door close and lock, and they check the door to make sure it is locked. Okay, that's the kind of people that are up there. I got this one guy. He used to be a cop. He comes in there. He runs a cleaning business. And see, I could have hired him, but I wanted to give his sister a chance, because I could have hired him. Said, look, clean this place for me. You do this shit anyway. But I waited. Okay, not any shade on him, but it's a team sport.
Hey, man, a whole lot of people don't play for the same team, man. We don't stay on. We do not stay on code.
That's our damn problem. We
don't stay on code.
All of the problems that we got, we could fix it. We could fix it. We could fix it, and the shit that we can't fix, we can make somebody else fix it.
Yeah, man.
But we don't.
Black people don't stay on code, man. They got black men and black women argue with each other. Black men and black men. Man, everybody black is arguing with each other. Man.
Right.
You got little groups. You got little groups of people that get along, and that's it.
But for one thing, there's a whole lot of problems with that. Me and Gardner used to always talk about. My biggest thing is, first thing before we can do any goddamn thing, is we need to figure out once and for all who the fuck we are and who we are not, and stop letting other people tell us who we are and who we ain't.
Stop letting other people define you.
We're supposed to tell them who we are and who we are not.
Gardner, I'm gonna give you the last word tonight, man.
Well, look, this has been a very amazing show. I wish we would have had the participation up to 100 chats, but we didn't.
The last 3 shows we didn't have 100 chats, and we didn't get 100 chats on this show. Oh
no. But we got a nice group of people watching. We got a lot of great comments and questions from Black Money Corp. Big ups to Black Money Corp. Go check his channel out. We had Marshall just really break down why we should do our own business, why we should consider being an entrepreneur. Now, this isn't the only business that Marshall has done. He's done other businesses, and maybe we'll bring him back to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because the import-export story, that was a funny story.
We got to hear that story, most definitely.
But we like to thank you for coming on to the show, man. Kicking it with us.
Yeah.
Marshall, man, we really appreciate you, man. Hey, man. Black Money said he want a laundromat now. And that's what this is about. That's what this is about.
Yeah. I mean, like anybody who's listening, like, okay, Black Money, he's interested in a laundromat. Okay, let's say you go out there and do that. And, you know, there's a lot of resources out there, right? Just in general about how to do it. But if you decide to do it, you know, and you need some advice or something like that from me or whatever like that, just holler.
Marshall, I'm gonna tell you what I've been looking into.
And I won't charge you either.
Marshall, I'll tell you what I've been looking into. A car wash. I've been looking for car washes when I ride around.
Gardner?
I know. You know my idea about the car wash. Woo!
I've been riding around looking for car washes.
Car wash. That's another one. Yeah. But does it meet the 3 criteria?
Yes.
I mean, that's a good summertime money. Spring and summertime.
But does it meet the 3 criteria?
In
necessary,
here,
need. I forgot.
Needed. It has to be needed, useful, and a necessity.
Necessity. Needed, useful, necessity. Yeah.
Car wash is not a necessity.
In the summertime, it is. I go to get my car washed. I go to get my car washed every other day.
It's seasonal.
Yeah, you're right. It is
depending on the part of the country you live in.
It is seasonal. But the thing about it is people use car washes in the winter now. If it's over 32, then the car wash can be open and people go and use the car wash in the wintertime.
Yeah. But
if it's over 32 degrees.
But is it recession resistant?
I think people wash. I think people will go wash their cars even if they're broke.
Maybe they will.
But you're right. You
these are the things. Any business. This is how you should look at it. Whatever it is, you know, that's how you should look at it. That's how I look at it. Unless it's just something that you just want to do. Like,
you
just love to have a car wash,
so basically,
just want one, then go do that.
So basically, you're saying a car wash is, it's open 6 months, and 6 months is iffy.
Depending on where you are. If you're in Florida, that's another story.
That's just automated shit.
You know, if you're in Florida, that's another story. It depends on where you are.
If you're in Florida, it's a waste of money.
Yeah, because it rains.
It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it rains 3-4 times a day.
Yeah, it's a waste of money in Florida.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, for 5 minutes at a time, just enough to fuck up your car.
Yep.
Hey, man, it seems like every time I wash my car, it rains. That's why I got the monthly, so I can go once a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just saying, nothing wrong with it. Because I looked at Gardner, and I will tell you, he was the one that went and pulled the information. He started doing the research, and remember, you remember that place, Tommy Wash? Remember that information? Yeah.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money, though. It costs a hell of a lot of money to build a car wash, and not only
no. I was looking at car washes that's already operable. That might be like the one that we looked at. Like the one that we looked at YWG that was across the street from the Census Bureau, but the census bought that property on Suitland.
On Suitland Road. Yeah.
It was a car wash that was closed over there for like 3 years, but the reason it was closed is because the Census Bureau was in negotiations to buy that property.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. But I mean, a car wash, depending on where it's at. Depending on
The
where
car wash was in the hood, so I know if it opened up, it would have been packed every day.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Every day, all
Right.
6 stalls.
Right. Or you get a tunnel wash.
Now, this one didn't have a tunnel wash, but it had like 6, and it
Yeah.
was right next. The hood, those gonna wash their cars every day.
Facts.
Mhm.
Every day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, man.
man, like
There's a whole lot of things you can do. There's a lot of stuff you can do. It's just that a lot of people, they don't want to, they want the shiny.
people are scared to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be scared to fail. I mean, you got to be able to bet on yourself and put yourself out there.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're not willing to put yourself out there, then there's really you can't be an entrepreneur because you're out there selling. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to sell the stuff except for you.
Mm-hmm. Right. See, my thing was always, I don't want to say that I didn't try.
Right.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Wasted potential.
I got too many shoulda, woulda, couldas in my life.
Man, nothing worse than wasted potential.
Too many of what would have happened had I done this, that, and such. Too much of that, But this, if you feel strongly about it and you think that you can do it, then give it a shot.
You know what? I said YWG was gonna get the last word.
Yeah, I know, right?
Before we're gonna give Marshall the last word, but before Marshall go, no, man.
I'm telling you, I've said enough, really. God.
Okay, well, we appreciate you, man.
And I didn't even want to do this.
Man, hey, man, this is useful information. It's useful information.
Man,
you have to take a chance on yourself if you're out there watching this. Believe in yourself. There's nothing. Entrepreneurship is the way to go. Even if it's something that you're doing in your apartment, home-based business. Anything is more than what you have. And what you're doing at home can make you more than your W-2. With that being said, YWG, Marshall, and myself, Maas Apeal, we out of here. We'll see.